There's a place where a fantasy is relived once every turn around the sun.
My name is Jim Hicks. My name is Anthony Cook.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
Renewing hopes, dreams, and memories.
There's the ball game. That's it. It's all over. The biggest upset in the history of Little League. Georgia wins it. What a walk-off home run.
Of proud moments and history made.
It's been an incredible journey. We're one of the best teams in the world.
It's over. Complete game for Monet Davis. Japan and Kitasuda have won an unprecedented fourth championship.
It's always a year in the making and always worth the wait. The Little League World Series.
And welcome to the Little League World Series on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. A summertime Friday in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Yeah, you can tell these kids are really nervous for their first Little League World Series experience. Half the field played yesterday. The other half will get their tournament started here today. Our first game, the kids from Barcelona and the Little League from Japan. Little League at a glance. A division of Little League International. We have 16 teams in this 2018 Little League World Series. Kids are 9 to 13 years old, playing a modified double elimination tournament. 6-inning games, usually 2/3 conventional field size. Mandatory play rules mean everybody gets in every game. Yesterday was a tremendous first day in Williamsport. We got started on the international side, a long one of the longest games in Little League World Series history. Went 9 innings, almost 4 hours. At long last, South Korea got a win dramatically against Puerto Rico. New York played very well in its first game here in Williamsport. They beat Iowa 5-2. Some great defense for Team Australia. They were 1 out away from a victory, but a kid from Mexico and his friends rallied for a walk-off win against Australia. And then the final game of the day yesterday, it was great pitching from Texas. They just shut down Rhode Island 3-1. So that's how we stand the first day in the books here from Williamsport. And our standings as they sit right now, those half teams that played yesterday, the rest of the field will get their tournament started here this afternoon. Hi, everybody. Dave Fleming alongside David Ross. Great to have you with us on the international side here at Volunteer Stadium.
I can't wait. I'm excited. We're getting kickoff today. It'll be good.
Yeah, really good. If you know anything about the Little League World Series, you know Japan is always a power. Last year, the kids from Tokyo won the overall championship. This year should be no different. We expect Japan to be a favorite. And yet, David, as seriously as this team takes its baseball that we're going to see here in a few minutes, this is also a group that seems determined to have a lot of fun.
Well, they're having fun. They're always having fun here, especially this year. The coaches said, this is what we want to do. We want to instill fun in these guys. They're going to play well. They're 25-3 in openers here at the Little League World Series, so they're going to be fundamentally sound, as you see here, taking their infield. But they're also going to shake a little bit, get a little dance moves for us, and they're going to have a lot of fun.
So it is a Japanese team with a lot of personality. On the other side of things, we will see Spain in the Little League World Series for the first time in 32 years. They may be an underdog. On paper, though, they're not undersized, at least at one position. Ronald Vizcaíno, one of the biggest kids here.
He's enormous, and we'll see here in a minute with Sebastian. He's hiding somewhere back behind Ronald. There he is. There's Sebastian. He's one of the biggest kids here at the Little League World Series, but this team is one you're going to root for. It's a great story. They're coming in here. They play on some in a group that isn't really focused on baseball. It's more of a soccer community, so it's exciting for these guys, and they're going to have a lot of fun and really enjoy the moment.
And who knows, maybe a big surprise. If Spain could pull the upset, it would be a giant one. Our first game, Spain and Japan, Idaho, Michigan on the U.S. side when we're done. Then Panama, Canada, the final first-round international game. Georgia, Hawaii will finish off the first-round slate. Huge crowds here at Volunteer Stadium. We are just about set to go. First pitch, Spain and Japan from Williamsport right after this.
The Little League World Series on ESPN is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, proud supporter of Little League and all youth sports. And in part by the Honda Odyssey, official vehicle of Little League since 1996.
Well, it's been a long time since we saw a team from Barcelona, Spain, from the country of Spain here in Williamsport, and it looks like their kids are really excited to be here. 4-0 in the Europe-Africa Regional, and they were dominant in their regional. They beat the Netherlands 19-0 in the regional championship. As David said a moment ago, a lot of those kids are still relatively new to baseball, but very enthusiastic about it. Let's meet the kids from Barcelona.
Mi nombre es Javier Arroyo y mi jugador preferido es Kawaguchi.
Hola, me llamo Tony Cortés y mi jugador preferido es Manny Machado.
Me llamo Denis Álvarez y mi jugador preferido es David Ortiz.
Mi nombre es Justin Montas y mi jugador favorito es Robinson Cano.
Me llamo Zachary Freer y mi jugador favorito es Aaron Judge.
Mi nombre es Jesús Lander y mi jugador favorito es Miguel Cabrera.
Hola, mi nombre es Rafa López y mi jugador favorito es José Altuve.
Mi nombre es Joel Gómez y mi jugador favorito es Manny Machado.
Hola, me llamo Izan Rocamores y mi jugador favorito es José Altuve.
Me llamo Lucas Iriarte y mi jugador favorito es Billy Hamilton.
Hola, mi nombre es Juan Salazar y mi jugador favorito es Javier Baez.
Hola, me llamo Jan Masana y mi jugador preferido es Aaron Judge.
Mi nombre es Ronald Vizcaíno y mi jugador favorito es Javier Baez.
A spirited group, that's for sure, and itching to go. They get their World Series started here on this Friday afternoon in Williamsport. For more on the team from Barcelona, let's welcome in the third member of our broadcast team, Sebastian Salazar.
Let's also welcome in the fans from Catalunya. They got quite a presence here. Look, this Little League didn't exist 5 years ago, so for a lot of these kids, it's a bit of a surprise to be here, for the parents as well. Apparently, over the last 3 years, this Catalunya Little League has been knocking on the door of making it out of the regionals and getting to Williamsport. This year's team, though, has a lot of younger players, and the expectations weren't that high. The trip to Williamsport is a surprise, so much so the parents were kind of scrambling, left to try and find hotel rooms together. They are scattered a little bit, but you can tell they are very excited to watch their kids play here in the Little League World Series.
Well, what an experience. A country that is just starting to grow baseball there. They have produced a few talented young players that are getting the attention of major league teams. So it's a start in Catalunya Little League in Barcelona, and meanwhile they will face an established program. The teams from Japan always do well here in Williamsport. Shisei Fujimoto, the left-hander, gets the start in game one.
You got one of their best on the mound today, and I was reading his bio. He's a big fan of Aroldis Chapman, so let's see how he pumps that heater in early on, just like Aroldis would do. This is fun for me. I think we're all excited for this game to take place and definitely see what kind of talent Japan's featuring this year.
And Shisei gets to wear the number 18, which in Japan is a very honored number. Almost always the top pitcher on every team will wear number 18. So he is in some ways sort of like the captain of the pitching staff for this team. Not from Tokyo. Usually, almost every year, the Little League team that comes to Williamsport is from Tokyo. A little reorganization. So Kawaguchi represents Japan this year after some of the kids were spread out a little bit. And how about the start from Shisei Fujimoto? A first pitch strike to Tony Cortez, just 5 feet tall, 11 years old.
Yeah, that's impressive. And we'll see a lot of favorite players with the soccer reference being from Spain.
Lionel Messi, I think it would be hard to overstate how popular in Barcelona Messi is. So for these kids, they've grown up. He's the #1 athlete in the world to them.
Well, and that's probably all they see on TV. I liked he was talking about one of his favorites is Manny Machado because his ears look a lot like Manny Machado. And that made me laugh pretty good because he's got that distinctive look that Machado does. He's been in the headlines so much lately. It's been fun to read these kids' bios and see who their favorite players is and why they're attached to them.
And they're paying attention. Tony was not happy that Machado got traded.
Yeah, he was so mad.
Got him swinging for the first out of this game. First strikeout for Shisei Fujimoto.
Thing I'd like to see too, Dave, is here we'll see the catchers set up a little more. The difference for me between the American side and the international side, the catchers work the strike zone a lot more on the international side. They're moving side to side. They're going outside of the strike zone, really to make the hitters expand like you saw that last pitch.
Masaomi Ikeuchi is the catcher for Japan. And you'll see him way inside on this first pitch to Juan Salazar. He got the call.
Nice breaking ball.
He's throwing hard, and he's got that. Juan is going to start on the mound for Spain. And the coaches describe him as maybe their best overall player.
Juan is one of our favorite guys to listen to. He's got the character of the group. He's got the personality. It's a lot of fun. We'll get to meet him a little bit more later on.
Big personality. Loves baseball.
Great hair.
He's got, it's hidden right now. You'll see it later.
Great flow.
The 1-1. And he used that off-speed pitch again, 1-2.
Such a contrast in his fastball and that nice slow breaking ball. You see why he's one of their top pitchers, and he's got great command already, and he can flip that breaking ball. Looks like in it will.
So just underway here, day 2 from Williamsport, Spain and Japan. And he hit the target, but the target was outside. We do have a microphone with our home plate umpire, Jorge Martinez Quintero, who is from Barranquilla, Colombia. All the way from Colombia here to Williamsport. Volunteer umpires. We will hear Jorge's voice all game long. Full count.
Working the zone, and that catcher's sticking. He's sticking every pitch. Doesn't matter if it's in the other batter's box. He's giving it a good look for our umpire back there.
Full count, 3-2. A little hesitation. Not a bad swing from Juan.
Good plate coverage too. That ball's down and out. Great plate coverage there to foul off that tough pitch.
One thing that we almost always say, these first games for all these teams, I mean, you go through all kinds of competition through your regionals to get here, play great teams, but you may see a pitcher throwing harder than any you've ever faced. Got a piece of that one. And I think in particular this team from Spain in the Europe-Africa region, where you have kids who are less experienced with baseball.
No doubt, and we touched on it a little bit, but they were so excited to get this equipment. They had to borrow bats on the way up here, which is kind of amazing to me. I know the coach is very confident in their hitting, but they've got these new bats that probably don't jump as well as the old ones they used to have.
3-2. Hey, hit that hard.
Nice,
nice stab by Igarashi, the first baseman, and why not?
Look at that smile. That is awesome. The big boy gets over there and gets his backhand right to him. Nice swing here. Putting the barrel on the ball, 3-2, and just reaches down and gets it in a great smile there. It doesn't get much better than that. He's going to rub it up for the pitcher, too. Give it back to him.
Oh, Masato. Well, you said it from the outset. We don't want to make it sound like Japan is not here to win. I mean, this team is talented, and they think they can win the Little League World Series. But the coaches have made a point of telling us, of telling their own players, that it's not just about winning here. This is a life experience. We're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to try to stay loose on the field. We're going to see more of those smiles.
And I think that's what we love to hear as we've been here a few years in a row, and now just get to know these teams and what they take pride in. They do have a great tradition in Japan, but it's nice to hear the coach say, you know what, this is a life experience. We're going to have some fun. We're going to enjoy this. This is memories these kids will have for the rest of their life. And that quote that I said earlier, just the responsibility as a coach is to instill fun in these players, is really nice to hear.
There have been some years where the team from Japan dominates on the field, but does not dominate the smiles on the field. Just it's sort of a very business-like approach, and this team is trying to do both.
And you can do both, right? I think it's been proven over and over again. You can have fun, and you know, just in my experience in baseball, and the more I relaxed as I played, and the more I got comfortable of who I was, the more fun I had, the better player I was. I became a better player when I interacted with fans or had fun jokes on the field with my teammates. Just makes you better, makes you more relaxed.
2-2. Lucas Iriarte hanging in there with some good cuts, and he hit that one well to right field. It is one hop against the wall. Naiki Tanaka comes up with it. The relay to third, not in time. And how about that?
Right out of the chute. Lucas drives this ball to right. Great piece of hitting. You can tell the coach is very confident in this team's hitting. And he gets this ball out over off the plate and drives it to right field with these bats. Very impressive to go that far. One hop in the wall. And you see here the aggressive base running of how they're going to play the game today. Getting all the way to third with 2 outs is really, really impressive. Nice base running, nice swing.
It was was a good play by the right fielder. He hit his cutoff man. The relay throw was reasonably accurate, had a lot on it, but a triple anyway. And ball one to one of the biggest kids here in Williamsport. We said it in the open, underdog but not undersized. Ronald Vizcaíno, he's their first baseman, and he is 6'1", 248.
That's a big boy. I'm not tussling with that 12-year-old. Aaron Judge.
That one gets by the catcher. And how about that? Spain has a lead against Japan. 1-0.
Well, you see them going crazy. The fired up fans and in that dugout. These guys are pumped. They've got some confidence. They want to know. They know they belong here. They're going to have some fun and try to break some hearts.
And we have a long way to go. We're 2 outs into this game.
No doubt, but I'm excited.
But this would be, I think I could say this. I haven't been here for every Little League World Series, but I think this would probably be the biggest upset in the history of the Little League World Series if Spain actually beat Japan.
Well, we talked about it, and we've talked about this Japan team a little bit, but they are loaded, and we talked about them having fun, but they are fundamentally sound, and they do know what they're doing. They can really hit.
3-0 to Vizcaíno, and he hits one back up the middle. Base hit. Well, Spain's got a run. They've got 2 hits here in the first.
Vizcaíno, again, just add to that hit total. We've talked about it a couple times. Maybe jammed it a little bit or hit it off the end there. The big boy gets one up the middle. And they're off to a good start. Hit some balls hard. I mean, Salazar hit that ball hard. Lucas hit that ball hard to right for that triple. And you see Ronald Vizcaíno get a nice single up the middle. These guys are coming up swinging and excited.
So now the left fielder, Jan Masana. Prego from Jorge Martinez Quintero. Strike. Years old. And let's see if the good at-bats can continue. He's a strong kid. Went with the off-speed. Vizcaíno rumbling.
Oh, man. I mean, that was like 3 strides for Vizcaíno from base to base. That's a big boy. Watch this run here. Ball gets away. I mean, those are some long. I don't have strides that long. Nice base run, nice heads up, being ready to go.
He picked up our friend Sebastian and carried him off like Sebastian was his little 2-year-old nephew. That one a breaking ball down and in, but got him swinging. How about the story of the first inning? Spain hasn't been here for 32 years. They've got a lead against Japan, 1-0. Well, this look, we got a long way to go in this game, but I think Spain did not expect to have a lead in this game. They haven't been here for 32 years, facing the defending champions. Different kids, but Japan always a powerhouse in Williamsport. It's 1-0 in the bottom of the first inning. Let's meet the kids from Japan.
僕の名前は海老原宗也です。好きな選手は今宮健太です。僕の名前は中島伊作です。好きな野球選手はアーロン・ジャッジです。僕の名前は田中大輝です。好きな選手は山田哲人です。
僕の名前は上沢慎二です。好きな選手は大谷翔平です。
僕の名前は岩佐雄大です。好きな野球選手はイチローです。
僕の名前は伊藤優也です。好きな選手は大谷翔平です。
僕の名前は中田匠です。好きな選手は秋山翔吾です。
僕の名前は野上海です。好きな選手は松本剛です。
僕の名前は清水優太です。好きな選手は吉田正尚です。僕の名前は村西慎介です。好きな選手は松井秀喜です。
僕の名前は池内正美です。好きな選手はベーブ・ルースです。
僕の名前は高田健二です。好きな野球選手は大谷翔平です。
僕は藤本知世です。好きな選手はアーロン・ジャッジです。
僕の名前は五十嵐正人です。好きな野球選手は松井秀喜です。
All right, so the team from Kawaguchi, Japan, against this kid. What'd you call it? Flo?
That's some serious lettuce. That's what we'll call it. Or lechuga in Spanish. That's what we'll call it. Get Sebastian's help on that. But Juan Salazar, he's got some serious serious lettuce coming outside of that hat.
And he is a talented baseball player. He will be the starting pitcher. Probably won't throw as hard as some of the other, quote, aces we see in Williamsport. He's going to try to work his way through a tough lineup for Japan. Masaomi Ikeuchi, the catcher, is the leadoff hitter.
The coach said he's got a great changeup, really more of a finesse, as you said, more control, knows how to work the strike zone. He got a really good changeup. That's probably what that was there.
Who is a Beatles fan at the plate. He's an old soul, young kid.
We've gotten so I love reading these bios because we get so much. It's so eclectic. You know, this group of kids here. There's a lot of cooking in there for hobbies and stuff you don't normally see on the U.S. side.
Well, that's a great part of being here and being a part of the Little League World Series, getting to know the kids, and they are so different. And you get such an insight into the personality when we just ask you ask them simple questions, and I feel like you get to know them real quick. That one just missed. Javier Arroyo is not a big catcher behind home plate. Javier, they say he's a good catcher. That one to right center, pretty well hit. Iriarte will make the catch. How about Lucas? He's got a triple and a run scored, and now he's got a highlight catch in center field.
Little 5 there with Joe Gomez. Great job. Gets a great break here. Long strides, big tall kid. Made that look really easy. Ball in the gap. Really had to run that thing down. Made that look extremely easy. Nice, easy strides.
Yeah, I always think those plays, okay, the wall, your teammate coming together, you get the warning track. Easy to get distracted. He was not.
And first play of the game, too. Your nerves and what you're running. But he's already been out there. The blood's pumping after that triple he hit.
Guys, we just saw that great catch from Lucas Iriarte out there in center field. With all these Spanish kids, you kind of wonder, how did you pick baseball over soccer? He's been playing since he was 6 years old. His mom grew up in Argentina, played some softball, started watching on TV one day, then they took him to a game, and they used the word flechazo, which is loosely translated kind of love at first sight. He's been playing baseball ever since. He does play some soccer, does play goalie, but baseball right now, the leader in the clubhouse, he's really obsessed with it.
And you can see why he really loves to play. He's good at it.
He's really good, and it comes easy to him. You can tell. Great swing there in the first inning, hitting a very tough pitcher for Japan, and then running that ball down the outfield. Made that just smooth and easy. Nice long stride. Just looks like he belongs in center field.
So now Masato Igarashi, who is maybe the big slugger on this team, taking ball 1.
Another one of their top hitters, and also another pitcher. They say they have co-aces, and he's one of them.
He has a pretty big cut there.
Wow. That's a nice swing. Yeah, it's a great play at first, but after that swing, he's known for his bat, not that defense he showed in the first inning. That's a nice swing here. Nice and controlled, and coming out of his shoes.
That one pulled, foul. So you hear the oohs and ahs. We've got a big crowd here at Volunteer Stadium. And it doesn't take, we get to know the kids sort of off the field first. It doesn't take long for all of our fans to watch a few swings and get to know the kids' hitting level.
Yeah, well, you know, kudos to these parents, too, that are here traveling and their busy schedule and to get here. But to be playing in this environment and see some really big kids playing against your 10, 11, 12-year-olds has got to be pretty inspiring.
He got the call. Wow. Strike 3 on the outside. Juan Salazar. What a first inning for him. Little help from his defense, but he retires the side in order. Look at the look from Juan. He's got himself a couple of Little League World Series strikeouts. 1-0 Spain. Well, you can travel the world and not find many places more beautiful than Barcelona, Spain. One of the world's great cities, with culture, with history, with food, with geography, the beaches, the nightlife. You want it, Barcelona's got it. And that's where these kids from Catalunya Little League are from. Yeah, you want to go there?
Yeah, I'm all in. Let's move it there next year.
That's home.
Amazing.
That is home for his team from Barcelona. Spain has not sent a team to the Little League World Series in a long time. Biggest metropolis on the Mediterranean, and there are a lot of them, Rome and Athens, but Barcelona, a great city and growing in its love of baseball in a small pocket. But hey, look, we've already seen, I think you could have asked a lot of people, would Spain lead this game at the end of any inning, and not gotten a lot of yeses. They have a 1-0 lead as we go to inning number 2.
Well, they got to be excited about that, but I know that city is growing.
That one not an easy play. Safe, not in time. And the pitcher and the second baseman, a little gentle collision.
Nice hustle there by Joel Gomez out of the box, getting down the line on that swinging bunt.
And hopefully Shisei is okay.
I love that the Barcelona coach is first one on the field checking on him. Joel Gomez hustling out of the box there, smells a hit. Nice play there by Soya to just not even use his hand, just flip of the glove, but just the speed of Gomez is too much. Well, I was going to tell the story, Dave, a little bit about Gomez went to a camp that Major League Baseball sent a bunch of ex-players over there, and Jeremy Guthrie was one of those guys, and he talked about it a little bit. They sent a group of guys over there and wanted to put on a couple of camps, and Joel Gomez was on that, went to that camp. Pretty cool thing that Major League Baseball trying to spread the game as much as they can internationally.
Yeah, so you think those things don't work? They do work.
Right, it matters. You know, those little, who knows what kind of tidbits they got from that camp, especially in Guthrie being a great Major League pitcher, how much he affect probably any of those guys that may have been able to go to that camp.
Yeah, Jeremy's traveled the world and taught baseball in all corners of the world. Hopefully Shisei Fujimoto, the pitcher, is okay. The hitter coming up has a great story, Zachary Freer for Barcelona. Sebastian?
I got his parents, Peter and Lauren, down here with us on the third base line. All right. I know you guys aren't the only Freers here. How many Freers do we have in attendance?
We have immediate family. One, it's great to be here. Immediate family of somewhere around 20. Extended family about 50.
Okay. So this is basically like a family reunion wrapped around or disguised as a baseball team.
That's how it feels, yes.
I know you're a little bit nervous to be doing this interview while he's batting, so I want you to focus on that. But there's some superstition here too, right?
We're only doing this interview because Zach said whenever the parents are interviewed, good things happen. So let's go Z.
So I'll pull the curtain back a little bit here, right? We're staying in the same hotel. I got to catch up with you guys a little bit last night. You wonder kind of what the expectations are for a team from Spain. First time here since 1986. Well, you said last night you want a team to have a moment. I think they've had the moment.
I think they've already had it. It's beyond our wildest dreams already, I think. They've had a couple hits and great fielding, and it's amazing.
Tell me what the expectations are when you get a group of people together from Spain. I know you've got some folks with backgrounds, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, but this is really significant in kind of the history of Spanish baseball, and really in the region of Catalonia, it's a first.
It is a first. It's been 32 years since a team from Spain has been here in the Little League World Series. That team was largely American, so this is really the first Spanish team, my son being the only exception. Zach is the only one of the team who's ever even been to the United States. Really, they've won just by coming here. They are psyched to be here, and obviously they've come to play.
Lauren, you were telling me there's some real nerves about just making it to the United States when they were in the regionals in Poland. Tell me that story of just kind of how it was that these kids were really hoping to make it here.
I think they were given marching orders to win the tournament, and they felt that pressure from their parents and for themselves, and they really wanted to win, and they came out to win.
All right, thanks, guys. I know we didn't get the good luck this time, but hopefully we'll do another interview. We'll bring it back next.
Vamos España!
All right, Sebastian, thanks to Mom and Dad, Zach, who moved. After being born in New York, parents went to go teach at a school in Barcelona. They love baseball from an early age and sort of taken it over there, become a great friend to all these kids. The only player who'd ever been to the United States on this roster until this week.
How amazing is that? I think that's so great. I mean, one of the other wonderful things about Williamsport and what the Little League is doing, but the kids were so excited to get here. I know the pitcher who pitched in the championship game couldn't control his nerves because he felt like the weight of every player was on his back to try to get here because so many people wanted to come, so many of the players wanted to come to the U.S. and he felt like it was his responsibility. Pretty cool story there.
So they've had a moment. They're looking for another moment. They lead 1-0. Justine Montas, the second baseman, with mom trying to capture this one. Send back home. Hey, my kid's hitting in the Little League World Series. Check this out. 0-2. That one just missed.
I love that Zach had already told the parents, hey, listen, if they interview the parents, get in there, because you got to get an interview. Something good's going to happen.
And that's one thing we figure out when we meet these kids. For every team, they, before this year, years past when they were younger, they watched the Little League World Series. They dream about being here. That one outside. 2-2.
Otra más. Okay. Straight.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I told you. Straight. Struck out. Go there. You're the next batter.
Wow.
Getting out of the
Now
box.
that. Now, look, by rule, one warning, and then the umpire is allowed to call a strike if you leave the batter's box. Now, I always feel like maybe a couple warnings before you. I mean, that's strike 3. Justine is out for getting out of the batter's box. So after one warning, the umpire can and by rule should. I don't know. Personally, I feel like there can be a little leeway.
How cool was that? The handshake right there before he comes up.
Every hitter from Spain is doing that with the catcher for Japan. So 2 outs, and that is a strikeout of Montas.
Strike.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm probably going to give these kids the benefit of the doubt a little more, but I guess you got to be fair.
I mean, it is the rule, but it also is their one and only time at the Little League World Series.
Well, I think we've established, or anybody that doesn't know you knows you're not a rule follower. So that's I would have followed the rules. I'm just saying.
And he did give a warning. We heard it earlier in the at bat. You got to stay in. And he did it in Spanish. So sometimes you wonder about a language barrier and is everybody understanding the rule, how it's explained. But I don't think that was the case here. 1-2 to Javier Arroyo, the catcher and the 9th place hitter.
Javier has not moved outside the box since that's happened to his buddy. He's like, I'm not going anywhere.
He hadn't lifted a foot. You are allowed to reset your feet. 2-2. And that's strike 3 called. So a hit for Spain, but no runs. Middle of the second, they will take a 1-0 lead into the bottom half against Japan.
We knew the Little Leaguers would be excited to meet the big leaguers and their heroes. This is something they will never forget.
All 16 teams have gathered here to see a big league game. And Bell cranks one. First pitch gone. A diving catch.
Well, we're doing it again this year. It was such a success last year. MLB Little League Classic Part 2. Mets, Phillies, just a couple days from now on Sunday. The players are going to be here during the day, meet the kids, come to the Little League World Series complex, then go across town to Bowman Field. Second oldest minor league ballpark in the country, which got a total redo last year to get ready for the MLB Classic. 3 different players who will be here on Sunday actually played in the Little League World Series. Todd Frazier very famously won a championship with Tom's River 20 years ago. Michael Conforto, Scott Kingery, they'll all be here for the first time since being players here, which is very cool. Scott Kingery, did you see yesterday he pitched for the Phillies?
Yeah, and it was like slow pitch softball. Did you see it? He was lobbing it. He was lobbing it in there. I don't blame him. Like, it's a blowout. That's the one thing I wish we could maybe try to fix. I'm sure MLB's working on that, but we gotta get rid of seeing all these position
A lot
players.
of them. Man, a lot of them.
Well, just in that, like, I don't know if we have just a little bit. Let's take the game back to a little bit like what we're watching here, and let's have some mercy rules. Let's have, like, nobody wants to see a blowout game like that, and a guy like me or Scott Kingery pitching. It's like, you don't want to see. I don't want to be out there. Scott don't want to be out there. He's ready to move on. Let's go get him tomorrow.
Yeah. It'd be very cool to see all those guys come back here to Williamsport. That's Sunday, and then Sunday Night Baseball, 7 Eastern, a little earlier than usual. That ball cranked to center field. It is right over the head and off the wall. Iriarte comes back and gets it on the carom, but a beautiful swing. And the first hit for Japan. Shisei Fujimoto with the double.
Doing a good job pitching today, and right here gets them on the board. The first hit, nice short compact swing. We We see that Japanese two-hand finish a lot. Nice swing, stays through the baseball, up the middle, drives that ball just a couple inches from going out in dead center. That was a rocket.
We've only had one home run through one day in Williamsport.
And it was a bomb.
It was. Oscar Hyde of Australia hit one a long, long way. We were going to have a special pinch runner. That rule helps get more kids involved. So Takumi Takata will come out and run twice a game, but no more than one time per inning. You can use a player who's not in the batting order as a special pinch runner. That ball hit on the ground to short. The throw to first, right there on the money. Nice play, Tony Cortez. And he also held the runner at second.
That was nice, clean baseball all the way around. Cortez fixed that up nice and cleanly. Good base running by the base runner at second base. Holden with the ball in front of him. Nice throw. And Vizcaíno came off the bag ready to throw to third if need be.
We watched them take infield. We thought, hey, these guys can hang. That's our version of scouting. Yuya Ito to center field. That's going to get down. A little hesitation from the runner, but coming around third, Uriarte, strong throw, but it kicked by Arroyo and goes to the backstop. And now the throw to third is too late. Ito with a double to knock in a run, and then he takes an extra base. It's 1-1. That was a pretty darn good throw.
That was a nice throw from Lucas in center field. Ito, great swing, line drive up the middle, a little hesitation from the base runner. We got to play at the plate, and just a little bit of a short hop, tough for Arroyo to handle. Gets in front of it, can't handle the short hop. But great throw here, just a little bit. Tries to get down there low, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. Tries to move his feet, get his body in front, just can't come up with the throw. Great play all the way around.
So now the infield comes in with one out. Good first pitch fastball for a strike from Juan Salazar. Taiki Tanaka.
I think my favorite part of that last play was Juan Salazar backing up home plate and the hat came off, and we had salad everywhere.
And you know, we've given credit. Kyle talked about it yesterday. It can be hard to convince the little leaguers to go back up a play if you're the pitcher. You don't want to do it always. That one up the middle, and Cortez picks it clean, holds the runner, gets the out.
Nice play again. Nice play again up the middle by Cortez. Here's Salazar's salad. There it is.
Here we go. Now, do you recognize maybe a resemblance, if you're a fan of the show Stranger Things? Dustin, I guess the teeth is the biggest difference. Hey, there's definitely a resemblance.
There's good similarity there. We just need a purple hat on Dustin, and we've got the same human being.
Now, maybe in Barcelona, he doesn't get pulled aside and told that he looks like Dustin, but I bet walking around here, as popular as that show is, I bet he's going to get some comments. Yuta Shimizu is the hitter for Japan.
Nice stop there by Arroyo, picking that ball, keeping that runner at third.
So Yuta is pinch hitting here. 2-0. Runner at third, 2 outs, a run in. Japan has tied the game. Ready to go from third base. You can tell from the body language, Javier Arroyo thought that was a strike.
I was just about to say that last inning. You know, the coaches talked a lot about for this Barcelona team about their body language on the field and how important that is. And you see it here, and they're acting. Things start to go a little bit crazy, and all of them have been super cool and calm. Right after that, Cortez makes a great play up the middle. You can tell they're not carrying any bad body language or any of those mistakes with them.
Good swing, yeah. 3-2. The pitcher for Australia yesterday, the kid who hit the home run, Oscar Hyde, very impressive young player. But he had a small strike zone. By Little League standards, the strike zone in his game was very small. His expression, not one time on the mound ever changed. He
awesome.
Just took it all in stride, not one time.
That's awesome.
That one chopped to second, and the throw in time for the out. Juan Salazar gives up the run, but some nice pitching with some good defense behind him to keep it a 1-1 game. Well, back here in Williamsport, one thing about Little League Baseball, we play on a field that is 2/3 conventional size. So the baseline 60 feet, 56 feet from the mound to home plate, 225 all the way around to the outfield wall. Just for comparison's sake, okay, on the infield, 2/3 size. The outfields, obviously, across the big leagues are a lot different. 401 to Citizens Bank Park, which is the closest Major League park to here in Williamsport. All right, now what about the kids from Barcelona, Catalunya Little League? Our producer, Scott Gustafson, he actually was there. So, of course, he went and visited their facility, brought the camera. That is their practice field. No gravel.
Gravel. Like, finally, he said it's fine gravel, and I can't imagine. Looks like a parking lot almost. That's amazing that they go out there. We saw the field next to it. That's their practice field, old Olympic Stadium, where they got to practice with alongside the Little League softball team who's actually in the regionals over in Italy right now.
And it is very cool that even though, and I think they're going to work on improving that field, get some nice turf like we have here in Williamsport for next year, but they are in the Olympic complex. So the Summer Olympic Games were in Barcelona many years ago now, but the facilities are still usable. So those kids get to play ball inside a lot of the Olympic facilities, but they could use some grass.
No doubt. They should, and I think read where that's one of their goals for next year. They're trying to get grass, and it looks like that might happen. So that will definitely keep growing the game over there. We talked earlier, the soccer is the #1, probably gets all the attention and all the fun. So looks like they're growing the game in a great way, and I think grass would definitely help those guys and make them probably save some money on baseballs too. I'm sure it's not easy on the baseballs hitting that gravel all the time.
I would think they'd get a little scuffed up. Now, you mentioned the equipment. These kids who, many of whom, it's not like you go to the local sporting goods store in Barcelona and find the selection of bats and cleats that you'd find at Dick's Sporting Goods here. But those kids got all the equipment when they show up here. Our sponsors of Little League outfit every kid who comes to the Little League World Series. And they were sleeping with their brand new gloves.
That's probably one of my favorite stories is they got their gloves that Easton provided, and their kids are sleeping with them. These bats they have are brand new and state of the art, and just so exciting for these kids to get the new equipment, whether it's shoes, batting gloves. I mean, everything matches, helmets. Pretty awesome.
Tony Cortez got a first pitch off-speed pitch. He made 2 really nice plays at shortstop in the last inning.
And we watched him take infield. We talked to him. He got a great glove, great hands. He's really smooth at shortstop. Favorite emoji is the heart, and he's got a little soft side.
See, just 11 years old. He in Spain tied with Japan 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike to count.
Arigato. Guys, we talk about the equipment. How about the bats? You know, this new bat standard caused a little problem for the Spanish team when they got to the Europe, Africa regionals in Poland. They didn't have bats that were compliant, so Little League Europe, Africa had to lend them bats during each game, and then they'd have to return the bats at the end. Well, the kids saw the team from Germany, which is a lot of American kids from a military base, and they saw that they had some really nice bats. So once that team was eliminated, Juan Salazar and Zach Freer did some negotiating. You know, they did a deal, traded some bat sleeves and maybe a glove or two, something that really wasn't worth that much, for one of the bats. So they got that bat just before the final, and that bat was some kind of luck. They won the final 19-0.
Oh, wow.
Got to be resourceful.
What a great story that is. I just remember we talked about, you know, when we were coming up and somebody had the cool bat or the new bat on the team, and you always, like, used to either you get a hit or strike out, and you just leave it at home plate for the next kid to come up. Nowadays, everybody's got their own bat. They got their own helmet and batting gloves. That's such a great story from Sebastian. That's, you know, to show how appreciative these kids got to be for all this great stuff they're getting.
And just to follow up a little bit on something that he said and you have said in this game, for folks who are watching the Little League World Series for the first time this year, there is a new bat standard that's in place, and mostly it's about player safety, but in essence, these synthetic bats are supposed to act like wooden bats. So the ball comes off the bat at the same kind of speed with the same physics involved as it would a wooden bat. The result has been this year throughout all of our district regional tournaments And already here in Williamsport is home runs are down. And we only had one of them in 4 games yesterday. Last year, just for a little context, first day of the Little League World Series, 10 home runs in the first 4 games. Yesterday, 1. So I think, David, it's going to be a theme this year where home runs are going to be down.
Well, last year, you're exactly right, Dave. Last year, the regional contest.
That smash knocked down, but no chance to get the out. He's safe.
Nice diving stop there by Shinji. Keeping that ball, keeping it from a double. Gets up, throws a strike to first, but not enough to get the runner. But going back to the home runs, last year in the region, just does. Keep him on there. He didn't know where he was. He thought he was going to go for 2 and had to straighten it out, I think, because such a great play by Shinji. But last year in the region was 149 home runs. This year, 62. That's over half down. You're the math major here, but that's pretty impressive. These things are not jumping off the barrel like they did last year.
So the special pinch runner will be used. San Rocamora in for Salazar at first base with 1 out. Yeah, those special new bats and the bat standard is about performance too, trying to match the performance with wood bat performance. It makes everybody's lives easier, I think. But anyway, and it's the game. It's not a criticism to say that home runs are down, but it definitely changes the way these games are being played.
I think you're exactly right. Well, we talked a little bit yesterday. The details of the game are getting so important, about hitting the cutoff man, about not overthrowing your base, about taking care of the baseball and pushing it a little bit and taking care of the little things, running the bases aggressive, right? Some things we've already seen here today. That's what's going to win you the ball game. It's going to be hard if you're waiting for that big home run to be successful, I think, in this tournament.
Now, Lucas Iriarte almost hit 1 out his first time up, hit a triple and scored the first run of the game. He was trying to hit 1 out, it looked like, with that swing. 1 and 2.
He's coming in there with that breaking ball, and he's having a hard time. That thing's just disappearing on that back foot. After that first swing, I think they learned their lesson.
1-2. And another one. Got him swinging. So the strikeout for Fujimoto. 2 down with Ronald Vizcaino coming up. Looking for training and information for coaches, umpires, league volunteers, and parents? Get free backyard tips, practice plans, drills, videos, and more. Visit littleleagueuniversity.org. Great resource for kids of all ages.
Perfect day for a snow cone, that's for sure.
Yes, it is. Vizcaino with the big hack.
Ooh, big swing right there. He meant business. Said, I got jammed last time or hit it off the end. I don't want to feel that on my hands again. That was a big swing there.
He's got power. We know that.
I got a feeling he's just got to touch it. That's going to be a tough one if he's throwing that today. That was, for a righty, that left-hander, always a trouble for me when I played. That back foot breaking ball, I'm sure you've seen it a lot covering the Giants and Bumgardner, but you got that lefty with a good backdoor breaking ball, or back foot breaking ball. It is tough. You read fastball out of the hand, it's tough to keep that thing fair and make good contact.
You saw the smile from Ronald.
Ball.
Okay, you go back to the fastball. Does that set up coming back to the...
It's got to.
I would think so.
I hadn't been in a Little League a while, but I think these kids are smart enough to know just a show-me pitch. And here it comes.
He sets up way inside, and he threw it. Vizcaino got a chance.
He's sizing it up.
Okay, now I got a little info. I've seen it now.
Sized it up a little bit.
He's 6'1", 246.
He's got a much bigger strike zone than most of these kids here.
He's a big, strong kid.
Going back to it.
Got it. That's pretty nasty. So he gets 3 strikeouts around the 1 hit. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's 1-1, Spain and Japan.
I hope you'll please listen to me now, because more important than winning is sportsmanship. It's a nod to the other team, a tip of the cap, a handshake. It's a smile, a lesson to take from Little League to life.
Well, we can all learn from that, and some great examples in this game. Ronald Vizcaíno making friends. Every team, every player on both teams, I think, has done that, whether it's a greeting for the catcher, the umpire, or both, when they come to home plate. And we see it all over the place here in Williamsport. It's just great.
I love it. Well, these guys are interacting, up at the Grove day and night.
That is true. A bunt on the first pitch. Foul.
Foul!
So yeah, Ebihara. So they get to know each other, and a lot of the players tell us coming in that that's the thing they most anticipate, is being up there with the other teams, even with the guys who speak a much different language than they do.
What's cool to me too is you've got all these kids in their bios talking about where they would like to travel to, and it's like Hawaii or New York or Barcelona, and you're up there with them all, so you can talk about, if you can get a translator or somebody to translate for them, you got somebody that's going to kind of talk about where they're from and how they want to either visit their country or their city.
0-2. No. The other thing about what we've seen here so far today, aside from smiles and the sportsmanship, is a competitive game.
Oh, yeah. Great game.
Spain has not been here for 32 years in the Little League World Series. And Japan, a traditional powerhouse, a team from Kitasuna Little League in Tokyo last year, won the championship. They've won many championships over the years. If you just were making judgments before seeing these teams, you would say, oh, this is a lopsided matchup, Spain. They've hardly played baseball. Not the case.
With Japan's reputation and the tradition of what they've done here kind of spoke to that, and the lack of experience that the Spain team has had in this environment. But you're right, it's been a nice clean game, nice and competitive, and a lot of fun.
2-2.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
He did not go.
Okay. I love that. I love the mics. I love the mics on the umpires. Did he go? No. Okay.
You can always ask. 3-2. That one to center field. And Iriarte out number 1. All right, so when we say the Grove, what is the Grove? Well, it's basically the dorm, the complex here on site where all the kids stay during the Little League World Series. It's not just bunk beds.
No, it's not just, it's games, it's competition. There's the swimming pool, as you see here. You've got these kids, I mean, their rooms are a mess. That mom and dad's not up there, and they're not allowed up there, so these kids are on their own and bunking with one another and just becoming even more and more of a tight-knit group. But there's a lot of competition going up there. We talk about whether it's on Pac-Man or ping pong, and it's a lot of fun up there for these kids. And I've been up there before, and it's even fun for me. I enjoy it.
Guys, I was talking to center fielder Lucas Iriarte's mom, Anna. She was telling me that the standards of cleanliness in the Grove are especially high, right? They want them to keep the rooms clean. It's been a challenge for her son, who she described as disorganized. She showed me a picture of his hotel room from the regionals in Poland, and I can confirm what she told me before she found it on her phone, which was it looked like a garbage truck had exploded. So it's been an especially challenging week for him, but she's hopeful that it'll kind of inspire him to, when he gets back, keep his room a little cleaner at home.
I like that, disorganized. That's a very nice way to put it.
Well, you got a rocket right here from pronounce that for me. Ikeuchi to left over the head of Juan Masana. Couldn't even make a play. It was an absolute missile. One hop the wall.
I'll take a handshake.
Thanks,
for that
Dave.
one.
I appreciate that. That's high five. I appreciate it. Teamwork. That's teamwork, guys. That's teamwork.
That was a hard hit ball.
I didn't want to butcher that one.
One out, runner at second.
That may be one of the harder ones I've seen. I mean, that ball was that was a laser.
Kainogami, who is the left fielder, second place hitter in the lineup. And one thing this is, if there were any nerves, butterflies, first Little League World Series at bat, this is now the second time through for all these kids.
Yeah, more relaxed, you can tell, and seeing always as the pitcher goes on, I think we've seen that in baseball in general, even more and more with how the major league's handling things. But the more you get to see a guy, the more comfortable you're going to be in timing him up. And any indication how the leadoff guy started it,
1-2.
He felt a lot more comfortable.
Juan Salazar.
Ball.
Close. 2-2. Our umpire from Barranquilla, Colombia, Jorge Martinez Quintero, has a son who plays for the Mets in the Dominican Summer League. That one right back to Salazar. He's going to go to third. It's a tag play, and he's out.
Nice play there by Juan Salazar. Heads up, very calm and collected. Really had an in-between hop. Thought for sure he was going to take the easy way at first. A little short hop here, stays on it, and first thing he does is check that runner. He's going to throw third and throws a strike to Zachary at third. It was an impressive play. Nice poise by Juan Salazar on the mound.
Salazar with the play, Freer with the tag. 2 down runner at first. Still tied 1-1. And it's hard to blame the runner. I mean, I do think in Little League you get rewarded even at this level with all these great teams and great players. You get rewarded for being aggressive on the bases.
No doubt, and that was as clean of a play as you can make. I don't fault anybody for that. Just great baseball play by Salazar. And it's heads up base running. The ball's to the pitcher's left-hand side. You're assuming he's going to go to first base with it, and just made a great, phenomenal play. A lot of things got to go right. You got to field it clean. It was a tough hop. Got to make a nice throw, and the third baseman's got to make a catch and tag. I mean, a lot of things got to go right for that out, to grab that out.
All right, this is Masato, maybe Japan's best hitter. In the dirt, good save by Javier Arroyo. But Masato's got the power to change the score with one swing.
2-1.
He ended up striking out in the first inning. Took a called strike 3. I would imagine he's going to be a little more aggressive now. And he was there. Juan Salazar got him to chase. 2-2.
2-2.
Yeah, it's funny. The first one you're kind of feeling for it, and they get out, especially the good hitters I've seen. They get out that first at bat, they're coming out there swinging.
So now will he go back to that pitch or what? Javier's going to set that target away. And he hit the target. Strike 3. Second time in a row he strikes out the third place hitter. Juan Salazar is pitching well. He helped his own cause with his defense too.
Well, the coach said he's got control, and right here is absolutely pink. Down and away. That's a perfect pitch.
What's up, Juan? Mind if we ask you a few questions?
Yeah, sure.
What's your favorite thing about Williamsport?
Experience.
What's your favorite ballpark food?
Cheeseburger with a lot of ketchup.
Who's your favorite musical group?
Queen.
Sweet. Nice hairdo. Can we see it?
Yeah.
Whoa, you've been working on that a while. What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
What's your favorite video game?
Fortnite.
Nice. How fast can you floss, though?
Yeah.
All right, I'm impressed. Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
What's the coolest thing you've done since you got here?
I broke the record of Pac-Man in the Little League World Series.
Can you say something in Spanish for us?
Llueve como las hamburguesas.
And what does that mean?
Just like talking about the weather.
Looks like you're in a hurry. You got time for a few more questions?
No, I can go back to my team.
Oh boy, what a personality.
Oh man, I love this guy. Let it breathe.
Juan Salazar is pitching great. He's got a hit. It's raining hamburgers here in Williamsport. Rafael Lopez.
With lots of ketchup.
With lots of ketchup. His first at bat of this Little League World Series. Rafael. A pinch hitter to start the fourth inning. 1-1. Spain and Japan. A team from Spain has not played here in more than 3 decades. Japan here every year, and often a contender and often a champion. And this has been an evenly matched game.
Very well played. Great pitching, great defensive plays. Very clean game.
Now, I said at the outset that if Spain beats Japan, it would be the biggest upset in the history of the Little League World Series. Now,
are you balking at that a little bit?
Watching the kids play, I don't believe it is lopsided as I thought in terms of talent level on the field. But on paper, history of the programs, history of the kids playing ball, I still stand by that.
No, well, I'm with you. It's kind of one of those underdog stories that you root for, and that was nasty.
Yeah, he has used that pitch a lot. Shisei Fujimoto.
That's the one he's gone to, that back foot breaking ball, and he's got great control of that, starting in the middle of the plate and letting that thing run off in. And you see where that catcher's set up deep in there. That thing's got nice depth, and he's got great control of it.
So 1 out. That's his 9th strikeout already. Jesus Lander will hit. Right-handed hitter.
Ball.
So Jesus getting a chance to swing the bat for the first time in Williamsport. And even he's seeing the off-speed stuff.
He's starting to slow it down. He's got a good rhythm since that first inning, and even the Japan team has nerves, and that's probably what kind of came to fruition in that first inning. Guys trying to settle in, but he's gotten that thing locked in since then, and that hurts.
Ouch.
Jesus Lander feeling that one. That is bee stings all in the ankle.
Yeah, you got to take a minute for that one.
I love. It's not funny, but like it looks just like a major leaguer when they get hit. Like we all turn into kids when you get, something that hurts so bad I can't sit still.
Oh, he's saying I'm fine. Ouch.
Right on the shin.
He does not want to get out of the batter's box.
No.
So he's going to stay in.
The one thing these little leaguers are, they're tough.
Wow. Well, that was the wide strike zone there. Jesus is thinking, man, I foul a ball off my shin and then that.
This is
he hit the target.
Okay, there's a strike 3. That's what that is.
He hit the target. 2 down. Up comes, Zachary Freer is due. Dennis Alvarez will hit.
Ball. We've seen a lot of major leaguers go to the helmet with the flap in there to protect the face. I love how Easton has thrown that on. I don't know if that's a rule, but I think every helmet that I've seen has that on there to protect these kids. And that mouth guard that they got. Pretty cool.
Seems like why not, right?
Right, yeah. That's what I think about that in the major leagues. But I love that this protected and the safety and how they've added that so quickly.
A little bit outside. 2-1.
2-1.
Got to think how nervous those parents are.
On the ground. And the clean play by Soya Ebihara for out number 3. We will go to the bottom of the 4th. 1-1 here in Williamsport. All right, we're back here in Williamsport. It is the Little League World Series on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. And some bad news, at least for now. The players have left the field. We have a rule in place, and it's for everybody's safety, not just players, but fans. If there is a lightning strike within 8 miles, play is automatically stopped, no exceptions. And there was a lightning strike within 8 miles of this beautiful complex in Williamsport. So we are in a weather delay. And we don't know how long that weather delay will last. In this part of the country, you never know. Okay, David, how good are you with these radar maps?
I'm terrible, but I'll give it a wing. It looks like there's some lightning and bad weather headed our way, so we got the kids off the field. See that little red ring? That's going to be us, and that's the 8 miles in between there. 12 miles is going to be the orange, and then as you see, 24 miles is going to be the yellow. So it's pretty self-explanatory there.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty amazing, right? Like when it's
Good Morning
moving
America
towards,
may be calling you sometime soon. That was pretty impressive.
I'm probably going to need a job because I'm going to get fired after this. This stuff is moving that way, and that way is that little dot for us.
So nothing we can do about it. We just hope that those storms move on through, and we'll get back to baseball sooner rather than later. And we're especially antsy to get baseball played again because of the game that we've been watching. I mean, this is an incredible story. Spain has not been to the Little League World Series in 32 years. They've got kids who just started playing baseball, in some cases, on their roster. They told us before the tournament started they were just looking for a moment, a hit, a good catch. Here they are against a powerhouse Japan team. It's 1-1, and they are hanging right with Japan. We're in the 4th inning.
Well, the story of the hour for me is Juan Salazar. This guy has come out dealing. Guy we've talked about his great hair, but he's been pitching really well. Gets this thing started here, and double to right from Lucas, triple to right, get this thing started, and then a wild pitch brings him in.
It was almost like we knew right away, and maybe those kids knew right away, that this was a little different than we set it up at the outset because Spain took the 1-0 lead.
Or and there's Salazar there, but he's been pitching great. Not your typical hard thrower in this tournament, but he knows how to paint the corners, knows how to use his fastball and changeup. Makes a great play there off the mound, get the runner at third base, and he has actually been very calm and cool on the mound, really in control out there.
I mean, so kudos to all these kids from Barcelona, Spain, who maybe haven't been playing the game as long as some of the other players in Williamsport, but clearly have worked at their baseball, and their coaches have worked with them because they have looked like they belong. And it's not just Salazar. They've fielded the ball well all across the diamond. The pitching's been fine. They've had some real competitive at-bats against a guy who's a heck of a pitcher, the left-hander on the mound for Japan. And isn't it funny, David, how, okay, they told us that before the game started, right? We're looking for a moment. I think expectations have changed. They're looking for a win.
They are, and you can tell how cool and calm they are in the dugout. I mean, I think the expectations went from, I thought when they scored that first run, they would be going crazy in the dugout. And they were high-fiving, they were excited, but they understand that there's a long way to go and that they're in this game. And Japan has got that pedigree where they normally would be intimidating to a group like the Barcelona group.
So this is day 2 of this Little League World Series. That means 8 of the 16 teams overall played their first games yesterday. The other 8 are scheduled to play, weather permitting, today. On the international side, that means this first game, Spain and Japan. Panama, Canada later tonight will be the final game in round 1 in the international bracket. South Korea had to go a long way, one of the longest games in Little League World Series history, to beat Puerto Rico yesterday, and Mexico a walk-off win against Australia. Quite a story developing here in this one. 1-1, Spain and Japan. We're in the 4th inning. We are in a weather delay. We'll take a break and come back with more right after this. Dave Fleming, David Ross back here in Williamsport along with Sebastian Salazar. What a story we have. Our first game of day 2 at the Little League World Series. Spain, a gigantic, in theory, underdog against a traditional power in Williamsport, Japan. And yet, this has been a highly competitive game. It's 1-1. We're in the 4th inning. We are now, though, in a weather delay. There has been lightning within 8 miles. That's an automatic rule. As soon as there's a lightning strike close to the complex, the players pulled off the field, and the fans are asked to take proper care with some severe weather moving in. So we don't know how long the delay is going to last. We did want to let you in on, in case you missed the action yesterday, the games we talked about on the international side. Very exciting baseball, a lot like this one, actually. Highly competitive. South Korea and Puerto Rico. That was our first game. Puerto Rico, the kids who last year, this time, almost a year ago exactly, had their lives changed forever with Hurricane Maria Such an inspirational story, and they grabbed a 2-0 lead with some offense in the 4th inning. They were 2 outs away from a first-round win against South Korea, but a big hit and then a double steal pulled off for the tying run in the bottom of the 6th, and so we went extra innings, and we went a long way. This was one of the longest games in the history of the Little League World Series. Very close. We zoomed in. I think it got a piece of his finger. A hit batter with the bases loaded put the South Korean team ahead. They would score one more run in that inning. Puerto Rico gave it a couple good at-bats in the bottom of the 9th, but came up just short. 4-2, the final. South Korea, yeah, you can see the relief. They escaped with an opening round win. And then how about the game we had next on the international side? Oscar Hyde was just tremendous for Australia. The first and still only home run in Williamsport, and he showed off his great arm on the mound.
That was a bomb, and you said it. I mean, this is Oscar Hyde absolutely dealing and really kept Australian in the game as long as he possibly could, but just ran out of that pitch count, ran up.
So all they needed was one more out, and they just couldn't quite get it. And give Mexico credit. They had some terrific at-bats, scored twice and walked it off in the bottom of the 6th inning. An ultra-dramatic 3-2 win for Mexico. Australia played great. Mexico played really well. Just a thrilling game. On the international side, all 4 games, day 1, were decided by 3 runs or fewer. All 4 winners came from behind. We had dominant pitching. We've told the story about the new bat standards and how home runs are probably going to be down. That was definitely true day 1. 3 hours, 45 minutes, 9 innings, that South Korea-Puerto Rico game. 6 minutes shy of the longest game in Little League World Series history.
That's crazy. We were over there with Jessica Mendoza on the U.S. side, and she was rooting. That Mexican team came back, and she was super fired up.
She was pumped, and you saw these games yesterday.
Yeah, we had the Iowa-New York group, and New York's a big, huge favorite here, but a tough play here in the 1st inning. Iowa gets on the board, or New York gets on the board early on. Same thing, triple, and then a wild pitch goes by, up 1-0. You think the wheels are going to fall off, but that Iowa team had just second thoughts. They came back, tied it up, but it was just too much for the New York group. They were swinging the bat well. The base running has been the key here. Going 1st to 3rd on that ball, creating the pressure. They created that a couple more times, and then brought in Bruno, throwing the perfect game to get him here, and he was lights out once they brought him in. Absolutely dominant. Struck out 7 in 2 innings, 2 and 2/3 innings. Absolutely dealing. You see here, he's fired up.
They're using Greg Bruno creatively, and he will be lined up ready to go for New York next. Texas, Rhode Island, also a very well-pitched game.
Yeah, Texas threw their arms out there. They had some studs here, but a ball getting by, a couple mistakes here was really the difference. Texas, we thought, again, just as this game is going, was going to be the clear favorite, but a couple wild pitches, a couple errors, and this guy right here, they called him Bill. He Bill for best hitter in league. It's with an H. That's his nickname. We were calling that all night. And he was 3 for 3, locked in, loaded to go. Justin Michaelis can absolutely rake. And then you bring in the closer here, Ryan Salvaggi, and he was lights out. I mean, he was slinging it, throwing, what the equivalent of 93, 94 miles an hour with a nasty breaking ball, and it was all lights out once he came in. Look at that. I mean, he's handed it to him.
Pretty impressive. So, Houston, Texas with a 3-1 win against Rhode Island. This is how it looks on the U.S. side. New York and Texas in the winner's side. Idaho, Michigan later this afternoon. Georgia, Hawaii will be the final game of the first round on the U.S. side. We expect a lot of good baseball from those 4 as well. And that, David, that's kind of been the theme on both the international side, the U.S. side. Clean baseball. Good defense. You saw some pressure with the base running, and you said how that could be a big part of the Little League World Series. But the great pitching we've seen, it's been really impressive.
It's been a lot of fun to watch. Every game has been close, as we talked about, 3 runs or less. A lot of come from behind wins. It's fun baseball to watch. These kids really know what they're doing. They know how to handle themselves on the field, and the team that's being the most aggressive and making the least amount of mistakes seem to be coming out ahead. And obviously we know pitching is a factor, and it always is.
Maybe sometimes is an overused word in sports, but parity, it sure seems like this year in Williamsport, sometimes you watch the regionals, you take a look at the teams when they show up, and you figure, okay, there's a huge favorite. This team's going to slug. You got 2 or 3 teams, and you figure the champion's definitely coming from that group. This year, for me, I have no idea who the champion's going to be.
I went into that New York game yesterday thinking New York was going to dominate with Bruno coming off that perfect game, and it wasn't the case. I mean, they faced some adversity, they came back, but it wasn't a clear-cut favorite. This is going to be a great tournament. I'm excited about what we're getting to watch.
No better example than this: Spain, Japan. Who would have given Spain a chance? Kids from Japan are having fun, but maybe starting to feel a little pressure. We're in a weather delay. It's 1-1 on the international side. We'll take a break and have an update for you right after this.
We knew the Little Leaguers would be excited to meet the big leaguers and their heroes. This is something they will never forget.
All 16 teams have gathered here to see a big league game. And Bell cranks one. First pitch gone. A diving catch.
Well, I think we all thought it was going to be really cool last year. I don't think any of us knew just how cool it was going to be. The Little League Classic last year, Cardinals, Pirates this year. We're doing it again. The Mets and the Phillies on Sunday. The players will land here in Williamsport. They will come visit the complex, meet the kids, and then head across town. It's not a real long trip. You do go across the river, through downtown, make a few turns, and you arrive at BB&T Ballpark, historic Bowman Field, one of the oldest minor league facilities in the country. They fixed it up beautifully for the MLB Little League Classic last year. It is sparkling again this year. The Mets and the Phillies, I think, are going to get a real kick out of playing there. Todd Frazier will be here in a Mets uniform. It's the 20th anniversary of his Toms River, New Jersey team's Little League World Series championship. He was a huge part of it, and he will be back for the first time since that championship, or the first time in uniform, that's for sure, since that championship. We had a chance to talk with him, and he met with some of his old teammates and coaches. Very cool conversation about that 1998 team.
What's up, boy?
What's up, man?
Hey.
What's up, Todd?
Put my pen book with me.
You all right?
What's going on?
All right?
Good
to see you, bro. Good to see you, man. You feeling okay?
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm getting better, man.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
We don't want to take you from your rehab, you know?
No, we're good. How's everything going?
Whoever wins this one is going on to meet a Japan team which is flying high going into Saturday's championship game.
Greenville, North Carolina.
That was the longest game, right?
No, that was the first one.
That was Michigan.
Again.
They were the team that had all the chatter.
Yeah, the whole time.
I mean, they were cocky. The good thing about Greenville is they had that kid Hodges.
Yes.
Kevin Hodges was the stud.
As a starting pitcher, he's been sensational.
He was lined up to face us in the USA Championship, and they're like, no, we're going to save him for the World Series.
Really?
And they gave us their second arm.
Big mistake.
Ripped to center field, and goodbye! Downtown goes Frazier!
Scotty just mowed him
Oh,
up.
man.
Yeah.
Scott Fisher, he was nasty.
Scott lights out.
We threw like,
I think that was
the nastiest curveball. The
like-
12-year-old.
He
I've never
threw
seen anything like it.
Scott Fisher strikes out the side, looking pretty sharp here.
Didn't we win 5-2?
5-2, yeah, the USA final.
To go on to the World
and you made
Series.
the final catch.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, he made the diving catch. He didn't have to dive, though. He didn't have to dive.
Hey,
That was routine.
What's going on? Call him out. This guy's always dope for no reason.
Always. He was the only one I remember practicing diving.
Little pop-up in the short center field. Johansson coming on. Toms River, New Jersey wins the national championship.
Why go catch it easy when you can make it fun to go dive for it?
On national TV, too.
And I'm trying to steal the ball from him because I want the darn ball so I can keep it in a keepsake. And it was like glue in his hands.
There's an awesome picture that I have. I think it's in my dad's office, and it's the whole pile, and it's me and Todd like face to face,
fight for the
like
ball.
grabbing the ball. And it's like they're like, what are you guys saying to each other? You guys like congratulating, like you're happy for each other, saying good job. We're like, no, give me that damn ball.
All Little League roads lead to South Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and our World Series final.
That final game was the most exciting game I've been a part of. I'm going to call my coach out on this. I remember, like, it was either practice before when we're hitting in the cages, you explained to us, hey, if you can get a peek on the catcher back there, you know. Do you remember telling me?
Oh, yeah.
He said, and I'm back there looking. I'm like, all right, hold on. All right, no, this way, no, that way. And I remember Palmer called me out on TV.
Yeah, they called you out on the telecast.
Before the pitch, he looks where the catcher moves. He seems to move in because he moves early.
I look back, and I remember the catcher kind of gave me a weird look, too, and I hit the home run. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, I guess.
My motto, you ain't cheating, you ain't winning.
Yeah,
That's what I say.
there you go.
Cheating, you ain't winning, right?
Hey, I remember
Take this away. Todd, this is all I got.
Yeah.
If they take this championship away from us.
Hit deep for Frazier to left field. He's done it again.
I'm like, all right, hopefully that relaxes everybody. I mean, not at the time. I'm like, oh, I'm hyped up.
You had a nice. You pretty much did that almost every game. You put us up to a nice lead with first pitch and two.
I just remember being relaxed in that game, and I remember that being the last game, being like, well, this is it. I mean, if you don't enjoy this game, there's no point in even being here. I do remember Casey being on second, and after the fact, Casey coming up to me and saying, did you get my signs? Because he was giving me signs from second base. And I said, no. I said, I was completely oblivious to it. He goes, well, it worked out good.
I coached a team of cheaters, huh?
Did you hit any homers during that season before then?
No.
That was his first 2 homers.
First 2 homers.
Couldn't pick them. Good at a time. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Time is everything.
And here is Todd Frazier. Now he can close it down.
Oh, man, I was nervous because I had to face those 3 and 4 batters again.
Yeah.
I said, just get him out.
You struck out the big guy.
It was such a good time, man. With the lucky breaks we had, and that's baseball in a nutshell, but we had some lucky breaks.
Absolutely.
When we had the parade home, I'm like, oh my God. I think everybody from Tom's River, if they weren't in Tom's River,
it was crazy.
They were at that parade.
We were joking. I remember joking on the bus ride back. We're like, they're putting us on a fire truck?
My favorite part after winning the Little League World Series, I think we meet Alec Baldwin. We went to the White House, met Al Gore.
But we were supposed to meet Clinton.
Yeah.
And Clinton had a funeral.
King Hussein, King of Jordan died.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was bummed. I wanted to meet.
I did.
Yeah, we were supposed to meet Bill.
Yeah, because he's a charismatic guy, But Al Gore was awesome.
Join the Yankees in welcoming the 1998 Little League World Series champion.
Who were you next to out there?
Bernie Williams. Yeah, I remember Bernie asked if I wanted to race. He's like, let's race out there. I was like, all right. So I took off thinking I had a little speed. And he was letting me win. I got some distance, and all of a sudden, just a white flash went by me, and he just flew right by me.
How about you?
Tim Raines.
The Rock. Awesome.
That was probably one of my favorite experiences.
Me, Gabe Gardner, and Joey were with Chuck Knobloch, Luis Soho, and then Jeter. So it was cool. They had some good work.
They were so cool.
That's why I love this time of year because we did it. We've been there, and it's like 20 years now, so it's going to be a good time. It's awesome.
Well, I love that. How cool is that? That those guys could sit down 20 years later and recall like little moments from those games. They remember it like it was yesterday.
Well, it tells you what an important part of these kids' lives it is. It's pretty an amazing moment, and for every one of these kids, and you see the special moment there with Tom's River. Pretty cool moment for me. And I can't believe I feel like it was yesterday. I was watching that on TV. It's been 20 years.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And Todd Frazier looks exactly the same, except he put on muscle. He looks exactly the same.
He does, and he will be here on Sunday for the MLB Little League Classic. Mets and Phillies will be across town for the Sunday night game, 7 Eastern on Sunday. We are in a weather delay here. Japan and Spain playing a heck of a game on the international side. 1-1, middle of the fourth. We'll be back with an update on our weather, maybe right after this. Dave Fleming, David Ross here from Williamsport, back on the international side where we have a big story developing today. Day 2 of this Little League World Series. Spain and Japan are tied 1-1, middle of the fourth inning, and we're hoping to have baseball as soon as we can. We are in a weather delay. 2 U.S. games teed up for later this afternoon as well. To preview those, we're going to send it up the hill. Carl Ravitch, Kyle Peterson, Jessica Mendoza.
Hey, Flem, let's stay away from the T thing, like T-storms, teed up, all that. That's not what we're looking for right now. A little weather issue in the area. And the first of our 2 United States games from Lomity, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho will take on Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan. Obviously, they have had success getting here. The Michigan team, one of those that many people will circle as a favorite to contend for a United States title. Coeur d'Alene thought they would at least get to San Bernardino, and as the manager just told me, this is really gravy, and they've been enjoying every minute of it. Later tonight, Georgia and Hawaii, and we'll talk about that game. Those are 2 teams as well, along with New York, that are picked by most to go the deepest here, but it's the beauty of Little League. It's so unpredictable. Jess is here, and so is Kyle, as Dave just said. I'm Carl Ravitch, so welcome to Lombardy. Again, with the weather delay, it has to do with lightning strikes within a certain circle, within 10 miles, because obviously if you look at the field, you could play baseball right now. So we're going to manage some emotions. They get two good managers and coaches to help them do that. Given that you just spoke to them, do you sense that they're all understanding of how this all works?
I think they kind of came in prepared. I mean, we were talking about it last night. You knew that there was weather. They prepared the kids for it. And, I mean, let's be real. These kids, you think about it, they've been waiting the longest. And there were 4 games yesterday. These teams haven't played yet. And so they have been waiting long enough. And at this point, it's what's another delay? They're pretty much ready for it.
All right, so let's start with the team from Grosse Pointe that's been here like last year. They've been here several times. In fact, if you think about the Hill family, they have 3 brothers. The 3rd brother is playing at the Little League World Series. The other 2 played at the Little League World Series. That's like unheard of. In fact, it is unheard of in the history of Little League.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's, you know, we'll see this sometimes with Little Leagues that start to come back a little bit more often. This clearly has become one of them. But you talk about pressure. I mean, if you're the 3rd
Right?
in that lineup and the other 2 have already made it, but now Brennan Hill's made it, and we'll see him later on today on the mound offensively. And Jess, we've seen through the regionals, I mean, this Michigan offense is about as good as any that I think, at least it sounds, we'll see here in Williamsport.
KP, they can straight up rake. And when you think about the lack of home runs we've seen this season because of the change of bats, this team and what they've been able to do. So you take a look at Christopher Reynolds.
He's from Idaho.
From Idaho.
He can hit.
he
should be on the other team.
He's the stud and can pitch. Can
Fits
do
on
it all.
both. He's the guy that's going to try to control him. The point is, too, with regards to Little League Baseball now, hitting a ball over the wall, the Idaho manager said, look, we're not that team ever. Doesn't matter what the bats look like. So you bringing other teams, perhaps, with this change in bat, which reduces the distance a ball travels, there's a lot of teams playing Idaho baseball more than they are playing Grosse Pointe baseball, except Grosse Pointe does feel like they may be a little bit more of an exception and an aberration than the other teams because they actually do hit home runs. 7 of them, it feels like a lot.
Yeah, but you get here, and I feel like you're so challenged with the pitching that I love that we got both ends of the offensive spectrum. So you got Idaho who's really just going to put the ball in play. They're going to be able to move runners, and then you got Michigan that's going to be able to rake and hit the long ball.
Well, we saw Christopher Reynolds. I mean, he struck out 24 and 11 2/3 in the regionals. And you know, I mean, even at this age, I saw their scouting report on the Idaho side. It's beautiful. I mean, we're going hitter by hitter and what tendencies are and everything else. They know how many home runs that they hit in regionals. I think it's a storyline that we'll continue to follow here because what have we seen? 1 so far in this Little League World Series?
One
I think
so
that's
far.
It feels different than it has in years past, Rep.
On the other side, Brennan Hill, 3 homers, Reggie Sharp, 2 homers, and Jaron Purify, 2 homers. They make up all 7 of those. Our second game, Georgia and Hawaii, 2 really good teams, and 2 states with a real good history of not only getting to Williamsport, but winning World Series. Warner Robins, Georgia did it not too long ago. Hawaii's had a couple of teams do it not too long ago. And obviously, when you get here, your resume is going to have, you know, superlatives like 2 shutouts, allowed a total of 6 runs. Hawaii, 31-8. You met some Hawaii player. You're a big fan of Sean Yamaguchi, huh?
Yeah, this is my guy. I mean, Sean Yamaguchi's going to make you smile. And he can play, too. I mean, 8 for 15, hit a couple home runs in the regional. But, you know, we went and shot the building blocks with the kids a few days ago. And Sean just kind of showed up in every one. It didn't really matter what we were doing. There he was. And are you a catcher? No, not really. Well, maybe I am today. I mean, it's one of our favorite things when we come here every year. It's just seeing the personalities of these kids. We got to see some of it the other day, and I promise you see more of that personality tonight.
Right. All right, let's take a look at the 21 questions we did with, as Kyle just said, my guy.
Hi, Sean. Mind if we ask you a few questions?
Yeah, for sure.
What's your favorite part about Williamsport?
I'm really looking forward to the pin trading and playing on the big stadium.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
What's your favorite Fortnite dance?
Orange Justice.
Yeah, that's my son's favorite as well. What's your favorite movie?
Kingsman.
Mets or Phillies?
Gotta go with the Mets.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Fun, crazy, and energetic.
I like it. Paper towels or napkins?
What kind of question is that? Gotta go with paper towels.
Favorite emoji?
Hammer emoji.
Really? Why is that?
Because I'm a hammer.
Can you give us your best home run call?
That's a yak.
Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
Nah, man. I gotta get ready for this game. Talk to you later, though.
The last one was a yak, I can tell you that. That's your guy.
It's my guy. We'll see Sean tonight.
What kind of question is that?
Yeah, it's a legitimate, I think, response.
Napkins, paper towels, or just flat towel? What do you want right now? What are you looking for?
Me? I'll take any of the three right now. I'm not picky right now.
A little sweaty.
Yeah, it's a little sticky.
Anything but a tarp is right, as Eric Mosley, our producer, just says. But somebody's going to have to try to shut down that Hawaii offense because they're really good. And Georgia may have Kente, who's pitching, the guy to do that tonight. Very good arm.
Well, you're going to see him fastball, curveball, but he'll get up there with the fastball. We saw him in the regionals, and Jansen Kenny is one of those guys that you just, or kids that you gravitate to. And when you think about the offense of Hawaii, I like that Kenny's going to be a good match, I feel like, for those bats.
Is there a bigger, broader picture of Idaho today? We throw a lot of breaking balls. When you have a team like Grosse Pointe or others, they tend to hit fastballs. That's how you hit home runs. Is it really hard to hit the breaking ball? And if you can throw that or have multiple pitchers who throw it, does it make you way more competitive?
Don't you think there's a reason, I mean, why more major league teams are throwing more breaking balls right now? Yeah, it's tougher to hit the one that spins, and it's a lot tougher at this age because you haven't seen too many of them, you know?
And here you get a lot of them.
Here you get a lot of them, you get good ones. So it's, you know, it's not the backyard breaking ball that your buddy from up the street is throwing sometimes. I mean, this one looks like a curveball sometimes. So yeah, I think it's absolutely tough.
I love the backyard breaking ball when you just try to spin it as hard as you can. Your elbow gets torn.
Did it move?
That's the one I throw. I thought I saw that break. I swear it broke. All right, Jess, Kyle, and I will be back up here. We'll give the United States games hopefully as soon as the weather permits.
Mud.
Yucky.
Yes.
Mud is good. Only in that case. Back down to you, Flem.
What a scene. Oh, my. So that's how you spend a morning in Williamsport, huh?
Just a little bit of rain, and that hill got real muddy real fast.
Good luck, moms and dads, getting that stuff out. Meanwhile, here, the kids, we got some positive signs. Maybe we're going to get a chance to play ball sooner rather than later. Spain and Japan, a 1-1 game, middle of the fourth, and we're told just a few minutes away from starting up baseball again. A big story developing on the international side, and it looks like our weather delay will be over. We'll come back right after this. We are back to the Little League World Series on ESPN, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. And great news, the weather delay has officially ended. The kids are back on the field, and we are set to restart this game in the bottom of the fourth inning. Dave Fleming, David Ross, Sebastian Salazar. What a story. This is the first game of day 2 of this Little League World Series. Japan, a traditional powerhouse team, the defending champions in Williamsport. Of course, these are all new kids, but still, the tradition of Little League baseball in Japan is just so rich and so deep. Europe, meanwhile, that region has lost 33 straight non-consolation games. A team from Spain has not been here in 32 years until 2018, and yet we have a tie game 1-1, and it has not been a fluke, David. These teams have been pretty evenly matched.
It's been great baseball, and I think a lot different than what we expected. And it's been, to our surprise, really clean, a lot of great pitching, some great execution, and some great timely hitting.
So after a 35-minute delay, back to baseball, and Juan Salazar still on the mound for Spain. Strike one.
When Juan Salazar has been in complete control, except for that second inning. Really commanding the strike zone well. Not a guy who's going to overpower you with any kind of velocity, but really knows how to use both sides of the plate. Been really impressive for us today.
And Shisei Fujimoto, who is the pitcher for Japan, also hit a very hard hit double his first time up and scored the only run so far for Japan. It's that ball foul. He's behind in the count 1-2.
He's had great at bats and done great on the mound. He's got that breaking ball working, and since he's been throwing that breaking ball, especially to the righty's back foot, I mean, they hadn't been able to do anything with him on the mound.
Trying to get a rally for Japan started here. Kawaguchi, Little League. 2-2. Well, you pointed it out so far. Juan Salazar, unlike so many of the top pitchers we see, the day one pitchers in Williamsport, so many of whom throw so hard. It's not velocity for Juan.
And he's filled his position, made some great plays. Actually, probably a game-saving play. Ball back to him, getting the runner at third. Very composed out there. Things kind of went a little crazy there in the second. He kept his calm, was backing up the throws. Really got great poise out there.
3-2. And he got him.
Got him to chase. That's another one of those balls. Trying to hit that corner. He's been out there all day long and just gets Yamaguchi to chase right up there.
So That's the 4th strikeout for Juan Salazar.
So guys, during a rain delay, we go underneath the bleachers, kind of see what everybody's doing, and you expect to see the pitcher, Juan, in there, keeping his arm loose. Juan's a relaxed cat. He was laid out on a bench, hat over his head, towel over his head. It looked like he might have been catching some Z's. I talked to the coaches. They said, hey, man, it's hot out there. These kids just need to take a break a little bit. But I can tell you, he wasn't very nervous because he might have been asleep.
Got it. That's maybe not a bad way to go.
That tells you a lot about his boys and what he's been able to show us here today. We saw him before he took the mound last inning. He grabbed a snack from his coach. Wasn't caught on camera, but he's out there chewing, I think, like a Snickers bar or something.
Takumi Nakata hitting for Japan. Okay, so you were a big leaguer through a lot of rain delays, double headers, whatnot, periods where you had to be back in the clubhouse. What would you do?
I couldn't sleep. I was a guy kind of pacing around. I never wanted to slow down too much. You know, the older you get, the more it takes to rev the body up.
That's going to be a tough play. Backhanded, the throw just a little bit late. Nakata, too much speed. It's an infield hit. Handled well by Tony Cortez.
Tony Cortez handled that perfectly. Just the speed of Nakata there. Couldn't get, wasn't fast enough to get it to him. Ball in the hole, backhand. Nice job. Gets rid of it nice and clean. Just the speed was way too much. Great play. Great swing all the way around. But I would eat, to your question during the rain delay, a lot of eating would be going on.
Now that does not shock me.
No, that's kind of, whether it's raining or not raining, I'm eating.
What do we do during this current weather delay, just you and I?
Crushing pizza.
Yeah, we ate. Yuda Yuasa will get his first at bat. 13 years old. A little shout before he sees his first pitch in Williamsport. He went after it.
We've seen a lot more bunting than I saw yesterday on the U.S. side here from the Japanese team.
Yeah, it seems to be a feature of international games where kids will be asked to bunt more. Maybe part of that is not just as in a big league game, a pure sacrifice bunt, but also make the defense make a play.
Putting the pressure on them, playing small ball, doing the little things. We know how fundamentally sound these teams can be.
That was a good swing by Yuasa. He found it back. It's 0-2.
Especially the Japanese team, we watched them take infield. Very, very impressive. Coach was hitting, it wasn't taking it easy on hitting some rockets to him.
You know, the same way that we've talked about Spain, their goal was have a good moment, have a positive inning, have a nice at bat. That feels like that's changed. The longer this game goes, tied 1-1. That one lined into left field, base hit. The flip side of that one got right through the outfielder. Coming to third and around third, Nakata, and he will score. The throw goes to third and it gets by. Yuasa breaks for the plate and he will score as well. That's how Japan takes its first lead of this game. It's 3-1.
We've talked about the little details in these games so far have been the difference. And Juan Masana really disappointed himself. Just the ball gets under his glove. Took some funny hops. We were watching infield, the grass out there, taking a little bit, snaking a little bit, tries to get down to a knee and do it just a little bit late. And they take advantage of it. Yuasa there, nice swing on the base hit. You see the coach waving him all the way around. And then we got another throwing error there, playing catch. I mean, it sounds easy, but at this level, it becomes difficult when everybody starts throwing the ball around. We caught a break there for Japan.
Hey, está bien, buen trabajo. Buen trabajo, tú estás haciendo tu trabajo. Ese cambio se quedó un poquito alto. No pasa nada. No pasa nada. Hey, vamos a seguir atacando la zona. Es lo que nosotros estamos haciendo y lo estamos haciendo bien. Seguimos atacando la zona y seguimos haciendo la jugada de rutina. Vamos.
Yeah, the message there. Hey, good work. Everything's good. You're doing well. Let's keep it up. And I think that's a good message.
I love that visit. That's as perfect. I mean, hey, listen, we've played a great game. Everything's going great. We make one mistake. Let's not get our heads down. We've got a lot of game left.
And now the bases are clear, so you can sort of hit the reset button. Hey, one thing, you mentioned it there, and I think it's a good point. Kenji Takada will hit with one out. 2 runs in for Japan. They've taken a lead. A ground ball, same spot. This one fielded cleanly by Masana. But you made the point on that play. These outfield here in Williamsport are so beautifully manicured, and sometimes the product of that is you get a little bit of that snaking. The ball acts a little bit differently. We showed you the photos of the field that Spain practices on in Barcelona. It's gravel. They don't even play on grass.
Well, and we even saw it with the Japanese team in infield. A couple of the outfielders misplayed balls, and it has to do with this nice grass cut, really well taken care of, as you said, well manicured, and they cut these lines in there to make it look good, and it can snake on you. And you only know that if you played the big leagues or have a really nice manicured field to play on. These guys obviously don't have that opportunity.
So Tanaka as a pinch runner for Takada.
Gracias.
Nakajima up for his first at bat. They used a pinch hitter in his spot the first time that spot came up. So even though he has started and played shortstop for Japan, this is his first at bat in the game. Eisaku Nakajima. That one got by the catcher. A wild pitch moves Tanaka, the special pinch runner, into scoring position.
Look at this size difference on first. I couldn't take my eyes off this earlier. Vizcaíno is just so big. Miles, you seen that picture of Judge and Altuve at the All-Star game or whatever it is?
It does remind you of that.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Okay, you mentioned that photo.
Oh man,
it's the thing we love about this sport.
All shapes and sizes.
3-1. Well, after the delay, things not going quite as smoothly for Spain.
A little bit of energy out of the team. You could tell a little bit of that pep in their step they had.
And who knows, maybe just that one play, the one little mistake.
That's what I think. It may be a little more. I always feel bad for the mistakes that the other team makes, right? I mean, you just feel bad for the kids, and they try so hard, don't want to let their teammates down, and want to do so well here. Got to be difficult to deal with.
3-2, and past the reach of Vizcaíno. That's a hit. They'll get the stop sign. That throw comes up the line with a lot on it from Joel Gomez. Tanaka stopped at third. Another hit for Japan. They have had 4 of them in a row.
Nice swing there by Nakajima. Ball gets it away, just throws the barrel of the bat there, just out of the reach of Vizcaíno. Great piece of hitting. That ball's down away, starting to size up Salazar now.
Well, I think the final player, I'll have to check on that, who has not had an at-bat. Shinsuke Muranishi will come up here as a pinch hitter. Shinsuke gets to swing the bat, and of course in Little League we have mandatory play rules. It is a little different based on how many players you have on your roster. 13 or 14 players, every player has to bat once. If you have 12 or fewer, every player has to play 6 consecutive outs and bat once. And there is a penalty if a manager does not follow those rules, but it's designed to just get every kid into the game. So Ranishi will have his first at bat of the day for Japan. They have scored twice here since we came back after the weather delay. It is 3-1 Japan, bottom of the 4th, and Spain is making a pitching change. So the new pitcher will be Justin Montas, 12 years old. He was playing second base, so he and Salazar will just flip spots, it looks like.
Do you remember when you were 99 pounds, Dave?
That was a long time ago. I really, really don't.
I don't either.
If I were him, though, I'd just, as long as you can hold on to that 99, just do it.
Just stay with it.
You have a long time in your life to be in triple figures.
It's funny when you're at that age, you want to go the other way. You want to, I can't wait to get bigger, stronger, faster. And then you get older, you're like, wait, I can't get, trying to get more in shape.
It's very true.
But a great game we got here. I mean, this is, a great surprise. One mistake really for the Barcelona team has kind of broken open, and the wheels have fallen off. But we got a great game, a much more competitive game than I thought we were gonna have, and been a lot of fun. I mean, I think these kids getting the most out of this competition today. Excuse me.
Well, and I think there's still a ways to go. So if somehow Spain can limit the damage here, they have had, even with all the strikeouts, they have put the ball in play hard several times. That one misses for ball one from Montas, his first pitch of this Little League World Series. I think one thing that you pointed out that's worth mentioning again, since the weather delay, these kids from Japan look to me like they've had a slightly different approach at the plate. We've seen some of that opposite field hitting. Maybe, early on you're anxious, you want to hit a ball over the wall, you want to crush one.
We even saw the coach talking to him a little bit during that weather delay, trying to talk about their approach, let the ball maybe travel a little bit. All we could see was some body language, but he definitely, like you said, had a much different approach, trying to hit the ball the other way and just put the barrel of the bat on the ball. They've just done a great job of making contact.
Well, Montas works ahead. It's 1-2. With one out, he would love to get a strikeout here.
Ball.
2-2.
That's the other thing too. When you have these pinch hitters and that they're coming off the bench to get their at bat, their adrenaline's up. They're ready to hit. They want to swing it. So it's hard to have a good, nice approach coming off the bench for your first Little League World Series bat.
Yeah, I think we may have seen that there from Shinsuke. A little too quick with that swing. That is a big strikeout. Out number 2.
Justine Montas has a nasty changeup. I think we just found out that thing just falling off the table. I mean, that's a Eric Gagne screwball changeup. That thing's got some serious depth to it. That was nice.
You hear that? Yeah, David Ross was impressed.
Oh, Gagne? I mean, that ball. He had me on that one. Didn't take much, but that was nasty.
2 on, 2 out. And ball 1 to Masayumi Ikeuchi, the catcher who doubled in his last at bat, also flied out to deep center field. He has hit the ball hard both times.
He's had really good approach, really good swings.
Ball.
See, nice quiet foot down, a little early, soft. Looks really comfortable at the plate and what he wants to do.
We ask all the kids, okay, who's your favorite baseball player? Who do you like to watch? He told us his favorite ball player, Babe Ruth.
Yeah, I love that. We had a little throwback.
Aim high.
Might as well pick the best, right?
Might as well.
The old Babe. We've seen a lot of cool different that. We had one yesterday. Favorite group was the Eagles. We saw earlier the Beatles, right? I mean, just the throwbacks is what's fun for us.
Juan Salazar said his favorite musical group is Queen.
Yeah.
2-1. That one skied to left center field. Lucas Iriarte, who has played a nice center field. Iriarte makes another good play. That is out number 3. And Spain limits the damage. Still in this game through 4. It's 3-1 Japan. Dave Fleming, David Ross back here in Williamsport, our Honda game summary. We have had such a spirited game, and that would not have been predicted based on the pedigrees of these two Little Leagues coming into this 2018 Little League World Series. Spain actually scored the first run. They took a 1-0 lead. Lucas Iriarte with a triple. He scored that run. Shisei Fujimoto has been excellent on the mound, though, for Japan since then. And finally, a breakthrough for Japan. 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th. A team from Japan has been the overall champion 5 times in the last 8 Little League World Series. And Spain has not sent a team here for 32 years. And yet, Spain had a lead. It was 1-1 all the way into the bottom of the 4th. Now, here we are in the 5th. And for the first time, Japan will take the field with the lead. So it's time for Spain to try to rally. Izan Rocamora will have his first at bat. He takes ball 1 low.
He's breaking out that breaking ball now. Fujimoto. That's been pretty much the unhittable pitch he's thrown tonight. That breaking ball's got some serious bite to it.
Now remember, this is his first pitching after the delay. So he came back after a 35-minute delay, had a 10-plus minute half inning of offense for Japan. So it's been a while since he threw a pitch. It may take him a few to get limbered up again.
Nice
2-1. And he's also got the pitch count to worry about. He's up to 73. That's another thing for Spain. They have had some longer at bats. They have hung in there against a guy who probably, I'm guessing, has better stuff than any pitcher that they've ever faced ever.
When the coach was really confident about their hitting coming into this, even with the change in the bats, he really likes their team, and they came out swinging early on. Some good at bats, as you talked about, working the count, fouling off some tough pitches. This team fights.
2-2. They got him swinging. Just stuck with the fastball. That's his 11th strikeout of the day.
Wow. Well, he just got it behind and started throwing that fastball away, and he dotted that first one coming back. But here, the four-seamer just climbing up and away. Gets him to chase a little bit up out of the zone.
That's why he gets
How many strikeouts?
He gets to wear number 18. 11 strikeouts. It is a number of honor in Japan. And we've seen a lot of the great pitchers who have come to the big leagues from Japan bring that number over. Ball one, Javier Arroyo, the 9th place hitter. He ended up striking out his first time up, but he had some good cuts.
He's got a good swing. This is one of the tougher kids. He's been under the weather today. Sebastian was telling us maybe a little bit. Got a good swing.
Going to be a tough play just in time. Nicely done by Isaku Nakajima, out number 2.
Guys, you mentioned it's been a tough couple days here for Javier. I was talking to his mom pregame. He had 102-degree fever on Wednesday, 101 yesterday, sore throat to boot. Mom said if it were up to her, he wouldn't play, but he was desperate not to miss this game. This morning, doctors gave him a shot of penicillin a couple hours before first pitch. I was on the field with the Spanish team pregame. He was cleared to play by doctors at around 1:05, so less than an hour before this game started. They slid him into the lineup, and here he is getting his shot at Williamsport.
Hey, no wonder he's a catcher. There we go. Tough as nails.
Oh, yeah.
One of my new favorites. Attaboy Javier. Get out there for your teammates. I bet it's got to be tough to be feeling under the weather and come into this environment and not be able to play. Super happy for him. He's battled back there behind the plate and really done a great job catching.
You know, he's not the only one. Spain has actually, there have been several kids who have not felt 100%. Things change, though, when you get on this field. A little adrenaline kicks in. Tony Cortez. It's funny, he struck out twice, 0 for 2. He's had, I think, excellent swings today. We've seen some great plays on defense from him. This kid can play.
He can really play. He's as solid as shortstop as we've seen so far, and almost made a play in the hole a while ago. That couldn't even believe he almost got a glove on.
Well, that one he went around. He was trying to hold up, but he definitely took a swing.
That ball chased him in. I don't know if this is a pulled fastball. He just kind of pulls it in, but you see here, he likes that thing in. I think the pitcher just cut it a little bit in, but it chased him in there.
Oh, twist right.
That was nasty.
But now it's 1-2. 80 pitches for Shisei Fujimoto. 2 down, nobody on. And he missed with an off-speed pitch. '85 means you're done. You can finish an at-bat if you reach 85 within the midst of an at-bat, but you can't start a new one if you're at 85 or above. 2-2 is hit to right center field, and that's going to be a base hit. We told you he could swing it.
Another great swing. While he's at the top of the lineup. Cortez. Tough pitch too, up and away, stays on it, throws the barrel at it. Really good piece of hitting with 2 strikes. Know he's going out there, throws his hands at it. Able to hit that soft line drive to center field. Nice piece of hitting with 2 strikes. Look at that smile. Getting better than that.
He is not a big kid. He's only 11 years old. He's one of the youngest kids in Williamsport. He's 5 feet tall. He can play.
He can definitely play.
And so can this kid, Juan Salazar, who's pitched most of the game. And he rips one, just foul. And that was foul by inches. Sean Simpson, our left field umpire, made the call.
What a great swing here. Line drive, just foul. I mean, that was
half a foot.
Yeah, 6 inches.
That was a good swing. He was ready to hit. He told us he had a little joke with us when we were asking him all those questions, raining hamburgers.
That's all I can think about when I see him.
He slaps that one foul, and he's got the power to tie the game. Now he's in an 0-2 count. This will now be the final hitter for Shisei Fujimoto. The next pitch will be number 85. But he could get into one.
I would say this is the guy they want up in this situation. This has got to be, this is their guy. He's the leader of this team and one of their best players.
They're going to set up way outside. Ball one. Spain has 5 hits. Japan has 7 hits. I mean, the parents of the kids from Barcelona told us before the game, let's just get a hit. Their expectations were so low. They have almost matched Japan in just about every way.
Let's just have a moment, right?
1-2 on the ground, and they'll take the out at first base for out number 3. Well done by Shinji Furusawa. So it's the middle of the 5th. Japan has the 3-1 lead. For those of you on ESPN, we are going to send you over to the U.S. side. They are getting ready to start at Lamadi, and right now we're going to do that. So on ESPN, up the hill to the U.S. side, Carl, KB, and Jess, take it away. ESPNU, welcome. We're here. It's the Little League World Series. Dave Fleming, David Ross, middle of the 5th on the international side. Japan with a 3-1 lead over Spain. And they are now 3 outs away from a victory. They still get one more at bat to try to add to their lead. How did we get to this point? Well, I think everybody was surprised. And I mean everybody. Spain took the lead. Huge underdogs, just in theory, based on the history of these little leagues in Williamsport, and yet a triple and a wild pitch scored a run in the first inning. Spain had the 1-0 lead. Juan Salazar was pitching well, meanwhile, for Spain.
He was locked in. He had the control going. Not the hardest thrower in the group, but really knows how to manipulate the zone. Very calm in his presence and played phenomenal defense out there to field his position to keep these guys in the game.
So then in the 4th inning, we had a weather delay. Japan came back with an at-bat, and they started to swing it. One little mistake in left field. That led to 2 runs. A bad throw at the back end of that same play scored the second one. That's how Japan took the lead. Otherwise, both teams really have had some excellent defensive moments. They've played very cleanly, but the swings of the bat from Japan after the weather delay, a big difference in this one.
Well, they really came out swinging. Much better approach. I don't know whether their coach talked to them or not, but really tried to be conscious of going the other way and letting the ball travel. Just trying to put the barrel on the bat a little bit. And like you said, Spain making one really key mistake there to cost them 2 runs. And they played great baseball here to be the underdogs. And this Japan team is very, very talented.
Yeah, otherwise, who knows, still might be tied. While we have a moment, let's send it down to Sebastian.
Guys, Kai Nogami going to be the leadoff hitter for Japan here in the bottom of the 5th. I've got his mom, Shinobu, here with me. She's the volunteer PA announcer for the home games for this Japanese team. So we're going to let her introduce her son as he steps to the plate here in Williamsport.
お待たせいたしました。5回の表、川口リーグの攻撃は2番レフト野上海君、レフト野上君、背番号10。
I'm going to have to work on my translation, but I'll send it up to you for the meantime.
Great. Yeah, she literally, and this Japanese team, they spend every weekend together, Saturday and Sunday, working on their baseball all day on the weekends, and parents volunteer for all kinds of different jobs. They cook for the kids, they maintain the fields. And Kai's mom is the PA announcer.
And she's got 4 different voices, they say. She mixes it up in there and kind of makes it fun for the kids. She's one of the jokesters in the parent group that keeps it nice and loose. But that's got to be really, really cool for her just to be able to announce her son in this environment. That's got to be special.
I don't know if you could tell, she does have some personality.
Yeah, well, it made me laugh. I'm like, wait a minute, she's slower and pronunciates better than I do.
That one, her kid's too fast. He beat it out. Kai gets himself an infield hit. There was no mistake made by Zach Freer. Just too fast.
Sebastian, there's the good luck you were talking about the parents talking. Look how fast Kai is here. Gets out of the box and coming down. One mission, look at the front of that bag. Nice. Trying to pull the brakes, a little bit of that weather earlier. Makes it a little wet out there.
So that's a leadoff hit here in the bottom of the 5th for Kai Nogami. Here's Masato Igarashi. He is an Angels fan, like I think so many kids now in Japan, with Shohei Ohtani coming to the big leagues and coming to the Angels. There is a whole new country of Angels fans.
We used to be all Ichiro, right? And now you see all Shohei.
And over the years, a lot of Yankees fans with the Japanese players who played for the Yankees. That's a base hit for Igarashi right up the middle. His first hit of this Little League World Series. They believe he will have many. He is a very good hitter. He struck out looking his first 2 times.
He stayed inside that ball really nice, driving it back up the middle. First pitch he's got on the inner half, but that's a lot of base hits for the Japanese team here in a row.
And I think that's your point. They have made a little adjustment at the plate since that weather delay, whether it was coach telling them or whatever. This was a tie game.
Ball. Or just the nerves, as you're talking about, when you're trying to do a whole lot and you want to be on the stage and hit a home run or do something big for the ESPN crowd that's here, right? I mean,
yeah,
national television. This is a pretty cool deal.
Could be. There are lots of people watching back in Japan. A country that cares deeply about baseball, and not just professional baseball. They're the biggest
6 out of the last 7 hitters base hits.
Yeah.
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
That one is high. The infield is coming. The biggest sporting event every year in Japan at any level is the National High School Baseball Tournament. That's the thing that people most care about, and it bleeds into Little League Baseball, where they care so much about these kids. 2-0. Pitcher Shisei Fujimoto, who is 1 for 2.
3 balls, no strike.
But let's see. Let's watch, because Fujimoto's a guy who's swinging big early in the game. Let's see.
One of their more power, better hitters. Got lots of power.
Maybe he'll take that same approach, although the count is 3-0.
Infield in on the left side.
Strike.
That's a strike. That's, you know, big league infield comes in okay, and it's big grown men, but you're pretty close to home plate with some big kids swinging the bat.
I feel like they're like 5 feet behind the pitcher right there. I mean, that is super close.
Tony Cortez, the shortstop. You got to be ready.
Ball 4.
That one's ball 4. So the bases are loaded with no outs. Japan trying to add to their 3-1 lead. Focused on fun, fitness, and fundamentals. The Little League journey starts with T-ball. Visit littleleague.org/T-ball for our free 10-week practice plan to keep the youngest Little Leaguers moving, having fun, and learning the games of baseball and softball. Great lessons for everybody. Great way to get some help if you've got some kids you think could enjoy the game, even if you feel like you're not equipped to help teach them. We got all kinds of resources for you, so check it out. Spain is going to make a pitching change here. And while they do, we'll take a break. Bases loaded for Japan. Bottom 5, 3-1 pitching change right after this.
The Little League World Series on ESPN is presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, proud supporter of Little League and all youth sports.
Great Friday here in Williamsport, the Little League World Series 2018, day 2 after a thrilling first day yesterday. This is the first game of the day today. We're on the international side. Tony Cortez, 11 years old. We've seen him play great shortstop for Spain. Now he takes over on the mound and inherits a bit of a pickle. Bases loaded, nobody out. 3-1 Japan trying to add to their lead. Shinji Furusawa takes a big swing, fouls one off. So the goal for Spain is they only have 3 outs of life left on offense, just trying to keep it as close as possible. Japan's going to have to go to a second pitcher for the 6th inning, so who knows, maybe things change with the starter out of the game. He's been very tough, but first things first, you got to try to limit the damage here. That one right back up the middle into center field. 1 run is in, and they'll go station to station as the throw comes all the way home.
Nice play there by Arroyo. Keep that ball in front. Weren't backing that up. That was a nice play. Nice swing. Nice hit for Shinji.
Cortez is thinking, well, if I'm at shortstop, I definitely feel that ball. It's a little different when you're on the mound.
A little bit closer, not enough time to move.
Because he's really been impressive defensively. Now Yuya Ito, right-handed hitter, with the bases still loaded.
Ball.
And this is, for me, what separates, Dave, some of the more talented teams is you got the depth here, and you kind of run out of pitching, as you saw yesterday in the international games in Australia and Puerto Rico, and that pitching is so important in these tournaments.
Well, it was the theme of the day yesterday on the international side. Puerto Rico was 2 outs away from a win, but their starter hit the pitch limit, so they needed 2 outs from their relief pitchers and couldn't get it. The game was tied. It went to extra innings. Australia was tantalizingly just 1 out away with a 1-run lead. And once Oscar Hyde left the game, they could not get that out before Mexico had rallied and scored twice and won the game. So that pitch limit, which is it's a great rule. It's there to protect the kids. We need to have the rule, but it does separate the teams who have a little more pitching depth from those who don't.
It's there to protect the coaches too from wanting to, you know, if I'm coaching a team, I want to use my competitiveness to win.
So it's not just the maximum in a single game, 85 plus in a single at bat, but you have to have mandatory rest if you reach certain thresholds. So there is also some strategy in how teams use pitchers based on those thresholds.
Nice swing there by Ito.
Yeah, very nice. Japan's whole offensive approach has changed.
I think as much
one good at bat after another.
Right, and as much as that had to do with Juan Salazar too, really in control early on in that game, and like you said, that rain delay hit, and they really bared down and making a lot more contact.
3-1. He rips that one right through third base. That will score 1, and a second run is in as well. 6-1 Japan. My goodness, we don't have the StatCast exit velocity in Little League.
That was the exit velocity of the day for us here. Ito there, just so connected, gets that backside through. Watch how he gets that backside through. I mean, not even a chance for Freer there. Zachary Freer at third base, not even ready for this glove down. I mean, that ball was smoked.
Yeah, you got to get lucky on that one.
Yeah, that was got to just go in. That just got to go in your glove.
So since the delay, 8 hits, 5 runs across, and really just one good at bat after another. And I think you're right. The pitching change has impacted that, but I think even against the top pitching that we would see a different approach. It has been a conscious effort from these kids, and it's working.
You're right. Sometimes that little bit of a break lets you calm down, as you mentioned earlier, Dave, just to kind of calm the nerves and try not to do so much with the baseball.
Kenji Takada, who had a base hit his last time up. He went around. It's 1-1.
One ball, 1 strike. Ball.
All right, I need a researcher. Said favorite food, udon. We gotta get somebody on.
Yeah, udon noodles.
Udon noodles. I didn't know that.
Yeah, delicious.
Is it? Dave, you just San Fran guys. You're very. I'm like steak and potatoes, fried chicken. You know, like I don't get a whole lot
of good udon
in the South. Not a whole lot of culture for me.
The big, thick noodles with the broth, and you can get all kinds of different vegetables in it.
You're down with that.
Big time.
I'm going to go over there when this game's over and hang out, see if they've got any udon.
You know, we did get word in the delay. These kids are huge baseball fans, and part of that and the advantage that they have growing up in Japan, unlike, say, the kids in Spain, there are so many Japanese players who come over to the big leagues, so they follow Major League Baseball probably as much as they follow the Japanese leagues.
Covered much more readily available for them over there on TV.
And they really, really apparently like you.
I don't know. Apparently is the key word there.
I tried not to have too much surprise in my voice.
Well, I thought the producer was messing with me in my ear.
That's just a little bloop, and it falls for a base hit. Around third, the throw is a pretty strong one, but it kicks away from the catcher and keeps rolling. One run is in. Here comes another. Safe at home plate. 8-1 Japan. Put the ball in play.
That's it. Takada, exactly what everybody's been doing. Just reaching out for this swing here. Ball up and away. Able to just make contact enough to keep the barrel. Look how he throws the bat at it. Just dunks it in over the third baseman's head here and breaks the game wide open. A little bit of a throwing error here. Seen this a couple times. And a nice slide here on the back door. Just sliding in. Slide that hand in there.
So still no outs here in the bottom of the fifth. Japan is rolling now offensively. And we are going to, I think, get another pitching change, it looks to me like. Tony Cortez faced a few hitters. He will give the ball to his teammate Joel Gomez. 8-1 Japan.
No pasa nada. Son cosas de la pelota. Son cosas de la pelota. No pasa nada. Vamos.
So some words of encouragement. We're in the bottom of the fifth inning. And the lead is now 7 runs. Sports Center tonight after Little League World Series action on ESPN. Kenny Mayne, John Anderson. I'm sure they're already getting ready for it. Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, all the young quarterback performances in the preseason. Duke Hoops seems like it's far away, but we got great insight into the young talent in that Duke basketball program. All the top plays from Williamsport, and we have had some top plays these first 2 days of this Little League World Series. 8-1 Japan leading. That's Sports Center tonight. Dave Fleming, David Ross. In case you missed the bulk of this game, the score right now is misleading. Spain, a team that does not have any Little League World Series history to speak of against a powerhouse program typically from Japan. Spain was so competitive, it was 1-1 into the bottom of the fourth inning, and that's when things changed for the Japan offense.
Yeah, we were expecting a kind of a blowout of what we're seeing now, but really close right up there to the bottom of the fourth, and the game just really has gotten out of hand. Just after that rain delay, you touched on it, Dave. The Japanese hitters have really slowed down, really trying to make more contact, put the ball in play, and it's paid off for them.
And this, all of a sudden, we would never have guessed this even just a few minutes ago, but the 10-run rule is in play. If Japan gets to a 10-run lead, because this is the bottom half of the inning, bottom of the fifth, then the game would end. So if it gets to 11-1, still no outs. Shimizu, the hitter, and he pops up the first pitch from Gomez. Arroyo couldn't quite get to the ball. Strike one. Javier Arroyo, and hopefully after this game is over he can go rest. I know he wants to have fun up in the Grove with his buddies. He probably hadn't been having a lot of fun these last couple days. He's had a high fever, has been really sick.
Now with that 101 temperature, he's especially catching today, he's going to need some fluids when this thing's over. Almost got to that ball, couldn't quite get that helmet off.
Shimizu swings and misses. 0-2.
Yeah, I thought our producer was messing with me when he told me that in my ear. I thought there was some kind of joke that they were going to bring up,
Yeah, go down there and say, "Hey kids, I heard you wanted to meet me. Who are you?" That wouldn't be a bad one.
We're
actually.
good. We're good. No thanks.
A little defensive maneuvering for Spain. 0-2.
Oh.
That one way inside. That'll advance the runner, Takada. And I think they actually used a pinch runner. Yeah, that's Daiki Tanaka over at third base. Well, part of what Spain's doing here with their pitching is trying for game 2 and then game 3 after that. I think trying to save some of these arms. So you rotate through, you keep the pitch count down for everybody so that they're eligible no matter when you play next.
Yeah, you got to keep your guys that can pitch and give you a chance, because pitching is so important, especially in a game like this. This game's over.
I think we've seen it. I mean, look, they have a chance to win a game here. They can win a game.
No doubt. Very fundamentally sound, great at bats. We've seen them have phenomenal at bats against a really tough pitcher. And some of these balls, even the balls they've put in play with that breaking ball has really been impressive for me, even though some of them have been outs.
That one hard hit, base hit.
And there's another one you were just talking about, Dave. Letting that ball travel, letting it get deep, and just serving it to the opposite field. How many balls have we seen go through that left side of the infield, that 6-hole. Really a good job by these Japanese hitters of putting the barrel to the ball.
That's super impressive. So here's where we stand. South Korea, Mexico, they both won yesterday in dramatic fashion. They will meet on Sunday at 9 a.m. And it does look now like Japan will advance to that winner's side on Sunday at 1 Eastern. Japan would play the winner of the final opening round game on the international side, Canada and Panama. And we expect a really competitive game in that one. You and I later tonight will have that game on ESPN. And look, there's some great stories in that matchup, and that should be pretty evenly matched.
That should be a good one. I'm excited about featuring that, especially for the night game. And I did Canada last year with Adnan, which was a lot of fun because he's Canadian, and so he is really. I never knew that. Yeah, he doesn't tell anybody that, but it should be a good match. But Panama, I think, is going to be one of the sleepers in this tournament. I think they've got a strong chance.
Adnan's got a quota like maybe 3 per hour that he's on the air, references to the fact that he is Canadian.
Oh man, we did 4th of July, me and Dan Schulman and Adnan we were throwing back to him in the studio, and it was like, oh, it's America's Day. Can we get it, stop the Canada stuff? You know how that.
I was with you. I was watching. On the ground to third. Salazar from his knees gets the out at second.
There's some nice defense there from Salazar. Juan Salazar getting this ball over to his left, gets low, down, makes sure he smothers it, getting down to the knees and throws from down there, throws a strike. Very impressive. Keep his composure. We've seen him do it a couple times today. Nice waist-high throw to the short second baseman at second.
So here is the leadoff hitter, Masayumi Ikeuchi, to the backstop.
Guys, every year there's a kid or two that just kind of seems to find the camera, right? I think Juan Salazar might be that guy for us this year, at least in the international bracket. I was talking to his father before the game. You know, he's grown up in Venezuela. He was very dedicated to sport. He began playing at age 3. He watched Little League with his old man, and they both kind of had dreams of one day making it to Williamsport. Probably thought they'd be representing Venezuela, Latin America. Didn't work out exactly that way, but after this team won the Europe-Africa region, Juan found his dad, and instead of saying, I did it, he told his old man, we did it. Thanks for believing in me. I mean, I got goosebumps. Exada, the father, was choking up telling me the story. Pretty cool to hear a kid that age aware and appreciative of the sacrifices that a family makes so they can have something like this, an experience like what Williamsport is.
Special. That's a hit around the head. We walk around here and walk around this complex and see the sacrifices that these mom and dads make to get their kids here with their brothers and sisters. Some of them already started school, traveling from so far away, getting hotel rooms. I mean, it's a big expense too for families, and for your son to recognize that, or your child to recognize that, that's a huge deal, and tells a lot about the character of the family in general, much less the son. But he can definitely find the camera. He's got to be one of my favorites in doing this game, and listen to him talk.
Just keep taking the hat off and flipping the hair around, and we're going to show you 2-1. A good hitter at the plate here. 1 for 3 today. I think Masayumi will be racking up some more hits during his time in Williamsport. He is the catcher for Japan.
It's always a strong showing for Japan, and I feel like Puerto Rico in the catching region. Obviously I watched that a little stronger than probably most, but I just have loved and fallen in love with the Puerto Rican catchers over the years and the Japanese catchers. They've got such great energy, and they're so fundamentally sound back there. It's just fun and a clean game.
Well, guess what? Potentially just a couple at bats from this game ending, and the kids are being pulled off the field again. So that means lightning in the area. That means another weather delay. And there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing that the Little League can do about it. That's the rule. It's to keep everybody safe. So bottom 5, 9-1 Japan. 2 on, 1 out. We are going to keep it here, but we will have another weather delay. And once we go into this, the delay by rule has to last for a little while. hey, it's this time of year in this part of the world.
That's it. I live in Florida, and this is how it is where I'm at too. Yeah, it's kind of that time of year, summer. There's rain with the sunshine.
So for the kids on both sides, you try to stay loose, stay engaged in the game if you can, and kill some time with your teammates in the dugouts. There are worse places to do it.
Yeah, there's definitely worse places to do it. They're probably having, I probably have some good games down there to hang out with and talk about. Oh, here we go. Okay, we shot 2 at this. All right, 8 Mile Radius is us, as you see here, that logo, Little League World Series. The bad stuff, the little white zigzag Z's, that's lightning, Dave, okay? And the green is light rain, and the yellow and the orange is a little more heavy stuff, but the little white zigzag Z's, that's lightning. That's what we're afraid of. And see at the top of your screen, you got a couple little small ones there. That
what'd you do now?
We hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button.
He can play, he can dance, and now he's a weatherman, David Ross.
Oh, man. We're just
those little zigzag things. That's lightning, huh?
Hey, it's really winging it. It's what I've been doing my whole life.
Well, and we hope that we're going to have to see that your name down there. We're going to add a little title, maybe chief meteorologist.
I need that. I need that. Well, I mean, always trying to add to the resume, right?
I think this is a good possibility for you. Yeah, you did. It's on the resume. Look, we'll hope we have baseball for you sometime soon. One thing about being here, we could see it. We show those great panoramic shots of the complex here in Williamsport. You do have all these mountains, so it looks like a giant wave of storms is coming, and then they hit the mountains, and poof. That's my contribution to meteorology.
Well, no, you're right. We're surrounded by the mountains. It's beautiful atmosphere. It's hard to have a bad time, even when it's raining. It's so beautiful, and the atmosphere on both fields looks so amazing. But you see here these shots of the fields, and we got the big video boards. They keep us entertained, and we have a blast no matter what around here. And these kids, it's all about these kids and the families around, so you can't have a bad time. Look at that view.
Yeah, it's a spectacular place. Everybody who cares about sports in America, everybody who cares about baseball should come here at least one time and see it. All right, how do we get to this point in this game? This is the first game. We're still not finished, but this is the first game, day 2 here from Williamsport. And right out of the chute, we found out that this might not be the kind of game that we were expecting. Spain scored the first run. It was a triple from their center fielder, Lucas Uriarte. He came home on a wild pitch. Spain has had 5 hits on a lot of hard hit balls in this game. Their pitcher, Juan Salazar, was excellent until the 4th inning.
Spain's done great until that one mistake there, and it's cost them 2 runs. Their game had really been in hand, tie game until there. You see there the throw and error kind of made it 3-1, and things just kind of broke out after that weather delay that happened. But a real difference in the approach of the Japanese hitters. They came out swinging the bats, driving the ball the other way. You see an absolute rocket hit right there. They swing the bats a lot better. We knew they could swing coming into this, but they changed their approach during that weather delay, that break, and they've been on fire since.
3 hits in the 3 innings before the delay. Since our first weather delay, 10 hits, 8 runs, and still going in the bottom of the 5th inning when the game has been stopped once again because of lightning in the area. And it's the Team Japan that we expected to see. The score, which is 9-1, is a little misleading. We had a really, really competitive game going until basically this last inning, and now that inning has been interrupted. So we're going to take a break. Maybe we'll fire up the weather map and let Mr. Meteorologist get back at it. We'll see what happens right after this.
You have the confidence to always do your best. May you always lead from the beating in your chest. Or may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Whoa.
Mexico walks it off with a 3-2 win. That was day 1. We had so much thrilling baseball action here in Williamsport. Only half the field play the first 2 days, opening round action. So 8 play on Thursday, 8 play today here on Friday. All 4 games yesterday were decided by 3 runs or fewer. 4 winners. All of them came from behind in their games. We did have great pitching. The lack of home runs is going to be a story. South Korea, Puerto Rico, one of the longest games in Little League World Series history. And I know the score in our game currently now looks lopsided, but it feels like we're just going to have competitive baseball all week long and plus.
You're right, and it's a little lopsided now, but it's been great competition, a great game, and much more than we expected today.
So we're in a weather delay. It's 9-1 Japan. We will come back with you when we resume. For now, though, during our delay, we're going to send you off to College Football Live and have Little League Baseball for you as soon as the weather clears up. All right, we are back here live from Williamsport, about to get started. Baseball once again, our second weather delay of this first game on the international side, day 2 of the Little League World Series. And look, the storms, they are moving on. So for now, it looks like we're clear. The rain is gone. The lightning is gone. We had 2 different delays in this game, a matchup between Spain and Japan. One team with all kinds of tradition here. The other hasn't sent a team to Williamsport in 32 years, but it was that team, the underdog. Kids from Barcelona who took a 1-0 lead in the first inning. It was 1-1 into the 4th. But after the weather delay, that's when the hits started to come. One little defensive mistake opened it up for Japan. And after they got the starting pitcher out of the game for Spain, the hits came in big bunches. The 5th inning is still going on, David Ross.
Yeah, this Japan team came out hitting a rocket right there. You see, they did a great job of getting the barrel to the ball, just putting the ball in play, hit a lot of balls to the opposite field, really just attacked the baseball and had a much better approach after that delay.
Well, Dave Fleming, David Ross, glad to have you back with us. So the kids have had to sit through 2 different rain delays. Really, it was an ultra-competitive game, and whether it was the rain delay itself or a combination of that and the new pitchers coming in for Spain, the game certainly has changed. Japan, in the bottom of the 5th inning, has a chance to end this with the 10-run rule if they can score a couple more times, and I think that's what Japan would like to do.
I think so. I went in that dugout in between the rain delay, and these kids are fired up. They hadn't even sat down. They were walking around, swinging the bats in there underneath the tunnel. They were having a blast. They're a good group of kids, and they came out swinging. I'm sure they want to end this thing right here.
And meanwhile, for Spain, there has been a lot to be positive about in this first Little League World Series appearance since way before any of these kids were born. So many of these are new, relatively speaking, to the game of baseball, haven't been playing for very long, and they hung right in there with a very good team from Japan until the hits started to pile on in that 5th inning. So now, with 1 out and a runner on base, we will get ready to resume. And Spain, I think, wants to try to get the inning over, get 1 more set of at-bats. They have 3 outs of life left, get a little more experience here on the big fields. This is such a new stage for them, so different from what baseball is like back home in Barcelona. Get a little more experience to get ready for Game 2.
You hit it right on the head. The more experience they're going to gain from this, the more they're going to get better, and they're growing every time. I was down there with them too. They're still pumped up and excited about being here, and they're learning so much. They've a great show here against a really tough Japanese team who's got a long pedigree of success here at the Little League World Series. So they have a lot to be proud of in their first game here in 32 years.
On the international side, 2 games yesterday, both were thrillers, and both featured big comebacks for South Korea and then also for Mexico. So those 2 have already advanced on the winners' side. This is a double elimination Little League World Series, so it's not like Spain's tournament is over. if they lose this game. And not like Japan clinches anything if they win this game, but you do get a big edge if you win game one. And that's what Japan is trying to do. We have one final game to go in the opening round later this evening on the international side. That will feature Panama and Canada, two teams that we both think can compete on the international side for that international championship.
I'm excited about that matchup. I think Panama has got a strong case to be in the finals here. Looking forward to seeing who comes out of that game tonight. Should be a fun game between them and Canada. Canada's always strong here, and you know, we're always rooting on the international game late at night when we've got, you know, the American team. Everybody's tuning into that. Well, we were going to have a good one here tonight. We expect.
Yeah, and we've seen good baseball on the international side, and we have still a ways to go in this game as we get ready to resume. Let's welcome back Sebastian Salazar.
Somebody giving Sebastian his peanut butter and jelly?
It could be that there's some pin trading going on, or Sebastian needed a hug.
Working it.
Something like that.
It looks like we're fixing to be underway. We're back.
We are back. Joel Gomez is the pitcher. Shoot. Yikes. He says he's okay. That's definitely not what Gomez wanted to do. All right. And you do feel, look, we give the kids a few minutes to warm up. The trainer's going to come out and check on Kai Nogami.
They're like, what the heck, man? I just want to hit. Oh, man. There comes a smile. Thank goodness he's going to be all right. That's nothing to fool with when you get hit in the head.
No. And they're checking just to make sure. So
see a little bit of a smile there is always a good sign.
Kai says he's okay. And the kids do get some time to warm up, but they were sitting around for more than an hour and a half after an earlier 35-minute weather delay. So combined more than 2 hours of delay in the middle of this game. Now the bases are loaded with still only one out, and arguably the most powerful hitter for Japan up, Sato Igarashi. 1 for 3. On the ground, and that'll get through. 1 run is in, and 2 runs will score on that hit to make it 11-1.
And that's a walk-off.
We're in the bottom of the 5th. That will be a walk-off win. The umpires are going to have to confirm this, but that does end the game. The 10-run rule. It didn't take long after we resumed. 1 hit batter, 1 base hit. If a team has a lead of 10 runs or more after the 4th inning, and we're in the bottom half of the inning where the team trailing has completed its inning of offense, then the game is over and Japan has finished it off.
By far the least exciting walk-off I think I've ever seen in my days of watching baseball, but I guess that's how it goes in a walk-off in the Little League World Series after a rain delay. Not a whole lot of energy there.
And smiles for Japan. I think, you know, those kids, I don't know if they were surprised, but early in this game, the final score is not going to be indicative of how this game was played.
Exactly
it was 1-1 into the bottom of the 4th. Here we are in the 5th inning, 11-1. But this was a competitive game, and I think Spain was having as many quality at bats as Japan was. The talent looked much more even than this score would indicate. Ultimately, the depth of Japan, the experience, and those bats. These teams could, that team could hit.
Well, we knew coming in on paper it was a big advantage to Japan, and even the parents for the Barcelona team were saying we just want to have a moment. We just want these kids to get a hit, and it was much more than that until the bottom of the 4th, which really was still a close game at 3-1. But this Barcelona team showed me a lot of character today. They came out ready to play. We watched them take infield early and said, hey, these kids are fundamentally sound. They know what they want to do. We got great pitching. We got timely hitting. Some very great plays up the middle. It was a great, great game. But like you said, in the end, just running out of juice of a very talented Japanese team.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. And you see the kids pay their respects on both sides, the parents on both sides. appreciating the competitive spirit of Spain. Final score not indicative of how that game was played. So 3 out of the 4 first-round matchups on the international side are in the books. South Korea, Mexico, Japan, they have all won. And our game later tonight, Panama at Canada. And then we will know the first round on the international side will be completed. For David Ross and Sebastian Salazar, Dave Fleming saying so long. Well, we got back. It didn't take long to end. Japan finishes it off. Final score, they beat Spain 11-1.